Could you imagine going through Hell Week and you're getting taken care of and someone tries to circumcise you?
Holy
insane.
Fuck.
Insane. It's like the worst thing you could do to a human being is do that to them. So while they're going through something, like the worst thing that could ever happen to you in your life is happening. And someone's like, why don't we just circumcise you right now?
Liam Cogan, what's up, man? How you doing?
Loving life, loving the heat in Austin. Coming down from Reno, dry. I'm all wet.
It is
wet and moist.
It is very wet and moist and humid here, especially right now. This is the rainy season coming in. It's hot. It's rainy. It's miserable. Like you get into your vehicle and you're just cooked. You're miserable for 10, 15 minutes until that air conditioner finally starts to work in your car. It sucks.
Dude, it's different. It reminds me of being, in VB, like going to the team. You're inside in the air conditioning, getting your ass beat all day. And then you got to your car and it's like muggy, but it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
And since I haven't been in like a muggy environment, kind of traveling with my wife in the RV for, 2 some odd years, now that we're stationary and I got like used to a climate, I'm like desperate for it to just be like all dry and comfortable. You can leave the windows open. Nothing gets wet. Nothing gets moldy. It's totally different.
So I got a couple of shots here. This is going to be the first of something that I hope becomes a weekly episode on our lineup. I want to do a Frogman Friday. So today's Monday, but this will get released on Friday. But we're going to treat Monday like Friday, and we're going to have some drinks with a real fine, real ale spirits from my boy Davin Topol. This is his batch here.
Cheers.
So, cheers. Thank you. Oh. Perfect.
I think for the viewer's sake, you should say that that's heavy. Is anyone going to know that that's what, like 2 pounds or a pound?
That's Bert Soren's shot glasses. Sorenex gym equipment?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's him. Awesome. That's why they're so heavy.
That's
fucking Bert's sick. Crazy. He's like always fucking lifting shit. And
yeah, it's like a fat barbell.
You should listen to some of Bert's stories about where they were going to. I think they were in Australia or something like that. I want to say Australia. My memory is so bad, but I remember he's told stories where they were in Australia and, they go over to this old lady's house, and it's like a tradition for all these like strongman competitions, and they're rolling through there, and they go over there, and this lady has like this gigantic boulder that weighs like, I think she's got 2 of them, if I remember correctly, like one that's like 500 pounds, one's 300 pounds or something like that. And part of the tradition for the competition out there is they go to this little old lady's house. I mean, it's like quintessential old lady, like teacups, and you go in there and she's like, let me serve you some tea.
Cute shit.
Just very like, and you got these like massive fucking like bodybuilding strongmen, and they go in there and they're sitting on these little old lady chairs, and she serves them, and then they but it's like tradition, or it's like, what they do. They go out into the yard and they pick the one that they're gonna lift, and they lift it up, and it's just like part of like whatever culture.
Me and my buddy. So when I got out of the teams, I did some business franchising, which I'll just leave out. It's not very interesting. I was working for Crunch Fitness as a COO for a franchise, and it was like, it's not super interesting. So I kind of was like, I need to pivot, figure something else out, go to my buddy's farm. And we're working on his farm for 6 months. He didn't need the help, but it's like, you go help your boy when he's out on his farm. He just got out, 4th generation farmer, another team guy, MedSept. And so we would go out, right? And like, so a lot of people will think of farming, even if you know farming and you're thinking you're using the GPS. So if you're not like tracking, a lot of people aren't tracking that. A lot of farm equipment now works on GPS, where you just turn on a satellite link and it goes back and forth for you. You throw your feet up and scroll. Well, my buddy's family, they're like really traditional, right? So we don't do that. So I'm talking 16 hours a day of just looking forward, looking backward, looking forward, and you're just lining up straight shots, right? And there's more to it than that, but it really is close to that. And every once in a while, right, we're going over 5,000 acres with 2 dudes. So there's a couple boulders. And so our game is like, we'll have some beers, we'll have, whatever. Because when you see one of the boys, like, I'm broke down for the day, pretty habitual. I'm going to run and get my work truck, and I'm going to drive to the store, get it, 6 nice course banquets, Southwest Colorado. Like they're perfect. You go throw them to whoever's hitting the tractor, and then you're like, yeah, screw it, dude. I don't give a shit. Like, I'll have a couple beers. And then, so one day, we go by these rocks, and it's tradition that you try to get it as far as you can. So it's really soft red clay dirt. And we're wearing cowboy boots, long pants, long sleeves. It's like you're trying to keep the sun off your skin, basically, right? Like it doesn't matter how hot you are. And so you're kind of like 6, 7, maybe beers deep. You see this massive stone. No idea how much it weighs. You're on a hill. You're in soft sand, basically. And just your goal is to see if you can get it 2 more feet. Because we're always trying to get it out of the field. So you have like this boulder that's like 200 pounds in the middle of this field. And you're like, all right, so we only got to get it a mile. I can move it maybe 4 steps every time I see it. Yeah. So maybe in like 8 years, we will have gotten this out of this field.
Great story. Where are you going to move it to though?
Well, once we get it to the side, then we actually want to pick it up with one of the trucks. Because you don't really want to run the trucks to the field. You can, after you like have a crop, you can rip them through the field. But we want to like get it there ourselves. Yeah. And then we'll put it on the flatbed, take it to the actual gym. And now it's like a weight. You name it, etch something into it, make it super cool,
I like it.
It's pretty sick.
That's cool. That's a good story.
I swear to God, though, I almost tore every muscle in my body. Like I know people say that, but I lifted that thing up, both of my hamstrings, my back, and my arms and lats all at the same time. Tensed up to the point where I thought they were going to snap. I was like, dude, what does this weigh? Like, can I lift this? And I just can because I don't know how much it weighs. But, you never know.
I think you got it. I think you're going to be fine.
Eventually.
Yeah.
5-6 years.
So for the viewers that don't know, we're going to get into Liam's background. He's a fellow frogman, and I'll let him tell that story. But real quick, so Liam was 3 minutes late to the podcast. So I made him get wet and sandy. Yeah. He changed real quick. That's frogman fucking etiquette, don't be late or we're gonna make you get wet and sandy. But just kidding. So on his way here, he saw a billboard, and
so this billboard
this is a great story.
This is so weird. So I'm driving in, right, and if anyone in the audience, which I'm sure they know, like if you're military, someone who's military, you're a prior team guy, you are terrified of being late. It doesn't matter if it's just like, bro, hey, I'm going to be 3 minutes late. On the inside, you're like, oh God, why? And you're thinking any moment I might be able to find a lane. Yeah. I might be able to find a lane, push it, maybe almost die, but I'll get there on time. Like that 3 minutes matters. And I'm thinking this my entire drive, because at the beginning of the drive, it's 25 minutes on the thing, right? And then I go take a pee, grab a water. I'm walking out the door. It's like 39. Oh no. So now it says I'm going to be late. So I'm just figuring out, truth be told, it's just all traffic, right? It was just dead stop the entire way to get here. And so I'm almost here, and I'm just desperate for entertainment. And I see a billboard, and it says, so the top says, get Bannon back on X. Elon Musk is afraid of Bannon's truth. Okay. And then at the bottom, it says, what was it? It's Bannon. Sign the petition. It's like sign the petition. Get Bannon back on X.com. Yeah. So Steve Bannon, who Brock was just telling us is Trump's last, what was it? Military advisor, chief strategist. Yeah. He got banned, which on is X.
Nearly impossible. On
nearly
X,
impossible.
So I had to go look it up.
Unless you, what did he do?
Okay, so as soon as he said this, I was like, and I don't know, like I try to keep up with the news, right? Like a lot of the people that follow and listen to this podcast, they're gonna be like, how the fuck don't you know fucking Bannon got banned? Yeah, right. Like, dude, there's so much fucking news out there. Like, unless I'm focusing on one specific fucking area, there's a lot I'm gonna miss. But
I don't deep throat Capitol Hill, so sorry.
No, yeah, exactly. And I hate fucking politics. I hate, like anything that's like people bitching. But anyway, so I had to look this one up. So Twitter permanently suspended an account associated with former White House chief strategist Steve Bannon after he suggested in a video posted online Thursday that Dr. Anthony Fauci and FBI Director Christopher Wray should be beheaded. Bannon made the comments calling for medieval violence during a live stream of his talk show and podcast War Room Pandemic. And this is, and I quote, I'd put the heads on pikes, right? I'd put them at the 2 corners of the White House as a warning to federal bureaucrats, either get with the program or you're gone, he said in the now deleted video previously posted on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. However, it has been recirculated through other accounts. Holy fuck, dude.
Wow. The craziest part of all of that, like anyone is allowed, in my opinion, anyone can have their own opinion. Anyone can say whatever they want. I don't give a shit, right? You're not going to hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
But you can't just assume that like you can say literally whatever you want on Twitter as a personality and just live with impunity, right? It's just like if you're going to he's afraid of your truth. Are you saying that Elon Musk is afraid that that is the truth?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's why you got banned. That's the truth?
Yeah. I know for sure Bannon's followers are like very devout, and like whatever he says, like we got his back. Fuck it. Behead those motherfuckers. Let's fucking go.
Let's see, baby. I'll be there.
But listen, like there's things that we talk about in the platoon space that even we fucking know, like,
it's wild.
You don't fucking talk about outside the platoon space.
Yeah. Safe spaces.
If you want to, don't be surprised when you get banned on like the one platform that is like the hardest fucking platform to get banned on.
Dude,
like,
I'm pretty sure you can't do full frontal nudity yet, right? Is that true? Like, that's not true. So you can even show your dick and balls.
Oh, yeah.
You just can't say you're going to kill somebody.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
I mean, that's like... I don't know. That's the standard.
And like you're talking to a couple fucking pipe hitter, knuckle dragon, like this is what we fucking signed up to do. We're fucking, and even we fucking know. I'm like, Bannon, I've listened to a lot of his stuff in the past. He's fucking smart. He's so sharp. And it's like, why did you do that? Maybe he didn't think that this would be publicly put out there. I mean, it's a live stream, which is kind of like a little different than like, me going out there making a video and posting it, stuff like that. But it's pretty wild for...
well, dude,
even me.
We were talking about, like platoon space stuff at our workout this morning and, everyone's personal experiences with whoever. And it's like, yeah, there's certain things get buried in the internet. However, if you say something as aggressive as possible about current affairs and then you post it with like the best possible SEO, like Google search. Yeah. People are probably going to see it.
I'm still impressed by it though. I got to respect the fuck it. Fuck I want to say.
That's the other thing is you see this so often with like, the political elite where they'll go and say something absolutely absurd and there's no holding the line, right?
Yeah.
Like there's zero accountability at their level. But if you post something because only like, whoever Joe Schmo posts something on Facebook, your entire family will eat you alive. And then your community, right? And then people that know your community and they'll all just like attack that person. But you have like, what was it? So I don't know if you've seen this video. It was a Democratic congressperson, maybe a senator, addressing an admiral about what was it? Guam. Okay. And he's talking about like amplifying. So the admiral is basically saying like we're bolstering military capability on Guam because for the layman, Guam is insanely important to us. It's basically our first defense for any Pacific fleet coming through, any kind of first reaction against military defenses from Russia, from North Korea, from potentially China as well, however they get their fleet there. So Guam is super important. So they're always going to be building on Guam. And so this senator and or congressperson, people can look this up. It's absolutely hysterical. He just goes, well, Admiral, am I correct in saying that it's about 17 miles long and about 7 miles wide? The guy's like, I don't know, probably. Okay, it sounds good.
Sounds close.
I didn't measure the beach either, but I could get it. I could get you those numbers. And, the dude's just like, well, what we're worried about is that in effect, Guam would begin to tip and potentially flip over.
Shut the fuck up.
For real.
He said that?
Bro, he said it. And he was, in his cute little seat and with all the little wood and all the nice old shit around him that makes him look all smart. And then he's just like, I'm worried we're going to flip Guam over. And the admiral was like, don't see it, but I'll look into it. It's like, bro, what are you going to do?
I'll have my team look into it.
We will run those numbers and see how heavy shit needs to be on one little teeny part of Guam to flip it.
Oh my God. What was that in the teams? They used to say, don't nuke it.
Don't nuke it.
Don't nuke it.
Just relax.
I find like that's a term that doesn't get used in civilian world enough, but it stuck with me. Like during a team, don't nuke it. Stop fucking nuking everything. Nuking it basically means you're fucking overthinking it. You're trying to fucking come up with every little fucking thing. And it's like, dude, let's just fucking get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
Don't like, I guess it derives from like, nuclear submarines and like it's certain
nuclear techs, the nukes, like they would overthink everything because they thought they were super geniuses. And it's like, dude, you got a 90 on your ASVAB. You're good at high school math. Like you're better than all of us at high school math.
Yeah.
But that was it. That's the prereq. So why don't you just relax, send it, and if it blows up, you're dead.
So on the subject of nuke tech, so when you came into the Navy, you had to pick 2 jobs that you wanted. Obviously, the first one is you put SEAL, right? Did you come in as an enlisted straight into the SEALs, or did you go fleet and then back?
I did, but I have kind of an interesting path in. So when I came in, I mean, full disclosure, I just loved drinking when I was young, right? And I would just, what?
We would have got along.
And so I got in trouble a lot for it. I came from like a very strict, small, like Stepford style community, right? Where everything has to be like cute and squared away.
Where's Stepford like community? Where's that?
So Chesterland, Ohio. Okay. So northeastern Ohio, and even, my buddies. So my buddies' dad, like his dad's friend, right, is a cop in the adjacent county. So Russell County, right next to Chesterland. He was just like, listen, buddy, you just pulled the short straw. Like we call them the Chesterland Nazis. Like they're just so strict. And so I got arrested a bunch when I was in high school. I knew it was all kind of BS though. I had like a very strong sense of self, but I got to college and I kept like just partying. And I was like, dude, this is stupid. Like I was doing this. I don't want to do this. So I thought, tomorrow I'm going to do something wild. I'm either joining the Peace Corps or I'm going to go join the military.
While you're in college?
While I was in college. So I took one semester and then the other one I completely flunked out of because I just didn't go.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even apply to college. My mom applied to schools for me, or she applied to one school. And so I went to that one. And so I decided, you know what, I'm joining the military or I'm joining the Peace Corps. So where I'm from, and I think most of these are like this, but the recruiting office has like all 5 of them right there. You can join whatever you want to join: Marines, Air Force, Army, Navy, and now Space Force. And so I walk in.
Did you leave out Coast Guard? Did you say Coast Guard?
That's not a thing. No, it is. It's valid. It's valid. I wouldn't have walked in.
How dare you, sir? They are patrolling our coastlines.
Dude, they get after it. Yeah. I mean, if you want to talk about dudes like legit getting after it all the time, like they're interdicting drug shit in the waters all the time. So
exactly. That's
they do. They do. They get after it.
Respect.
But really, I walked in, and this is like my path, is that I walked in at lunchtime. And so whoever was on call, like whoever heeded the call of the warrior and worked through lunch that day, I went to. So obviously Air Force is out. Surprisingly, the Marine Corps was out. Okay. So
really?
These guys are on lunch. Yeah. Check yourselves. And then
get it together.
So basically I walked to the end of the hall. I haven't talked to anybody, and there's Army, Navy. So they're both open. So I walk into Army first because, like being more alpha dude, I didn't know shit about military stuff anyways. I was like, dude, Army sounds good, right? Army man, Rangers, cool. Walk in there, and every dude was like kind of weird. And they had me take an ASVAB. Like, no, it was like a sale, right? You walk in, the dude's like, do you want to do this and fill this paperwork out? And we'll see if you get an ASVAB, and I'll just get you in there today. And it's like, not going today. Didn't say that. Don't want to really take like a test car right salesman. Now. Yeah, it was gross. And I mean, that's really what it is though. I mean, they're recruiters, right? So he just didn't recruit me the right way. So I had the conversation, took the ASVAB thing, got a find enough score to join, and then walked across the hall, talked to the Navy guy. So then the Navy guy is if you remember me, dude, if he's out there and he ever sees this clip, you are weird. That's what I would say is, dude, I think he had like braces. He was gangly. He had a stutter. I was like, this is not the deal. These are not my boys. And basically just listened to his pitch, but his pitch was kind of good. It was just like, you can travel the world, you can do a bunch of jobs. It has a bunch of translation to what you could do later. You could be a medic. I thought, okay, medic. Like I clung onto that. I was like, that kind of sounds cool. You know, Navy medic kind of sounds cool. So I'm walking out the door and the dude's like, hey, you look like you're in shape. Why don't you grab those pamphlets on your way out? And there was, you know, one of those little like school book, you know, book fair, little metal cages with a bunch of pamphlets. And it was all the special warfare stuff. So I took all the spec war things, went home, laid them all out in front of me, took like, what is it, all 6 or 5, opened them all up. And I was like, okay, which one's it going to be? Because these sound cool. And you probably remember, like, I think we all have really fond memories of just being like, wow, dude, like you're looking at the videos and you're checking the dudes out and you're like, that dude's forearm's huge. These guys are sick. You know what I mean? And I was just, I mean, I remember the operator who I thought was the coolest dude. They're doing an OTB. He's like a Mexican dude. He's got a giant forearm. He's wearing his like old BDU desert camis, you know, and he's like wearing his little boonie, and he's got a 48 and he's running over a sand dune. I was like, that's who I want to be. Like that dude's super cool. Yeah. And, you know, I flip through all of them. I see that, you know, the SEAL has the hardest standard, and it's like, so why show up to a PST and shoot for, you know, second place? It's not me, right? So I went and I got lucky. So you may not even know about this, but in this era, you can auto qual. And so I can tell by your face you don't know about this.
The fuck is an auto qual?
So it was interesting for a period of time.
Hang on, time out. Yeah. So I have to preface what he's about to say with, so I was class 279. So that means, you know, you're classed up when you get to buds, and, you know, there's started at 1, and, you know, so I was class 279. What class were you?
306.
306. So unfortunately for Liam here, class 279 was like the last hardest class, like the last actual hard class. And everything after 279, once they got to 280, was auto qual type stuff. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, we'll address that. But so what the auto qual was is basically they were trying to, I mean, they're always trying to figure out how to make more SEALs. Like you can't ever be satisfied with the fact that it's never changed ever. And you're not going to be the super genius officer who changes it. But they're all going to try. They're all going to give it their shot. So this new program was basically, they took a bunch of operators, I don't know, whatever, 50 dudes, and they had them take a, you know, kind of like a test. I don't know. It'd be like a personality test, right? Yeah. Like, if something were hard, would you do it? And they were like, yeah. And so I take this test, and it was just like, you got a 99. And I was like, is that good? And they're like, yeah, that's really good. All you got to do is pass your first PST. So I didn't even have to be competitive. However, you know, passing your first PST is hard because who side strokes naturally, right? Like you kind of have to learn some stuff. True, yeah, you know, you don't like, I never trained for any of this. I didn't know what SEALs were. I didn't like know any of this stuff.
Did you have anybody that trained you during the process of this PST?
Yeah, but he was an old school frog.
Dude, that's the same fucking thing I had.
Yeah.
I had a guy that was supposed to be fucking like teaching me everything along the way. Dude like, never fucking showed up. I didn't see him the entire time until the very ending after I made it through all of this. And he like showed up to meet me at a bar to get drunk with me.
That's awesome.
He's like, I think you got what it takes. And I was like, dude, you didn't teach me anything. And then I hear about people that were, you know, I was going classed up with, and they're like, oh yeah, my guy, he did this for me. He did this for me. But I'm like, I'm kind of glad that he didn't do anything because I just kind of figured it out.
Yeah,
so
you're just going blind.
It's good to know that I wasn't the only one because I didn't know anything.
So so my guy's philosophy was a little different, just in the fact that like he was around, but he just was more like a team guy about it, where he's like, I'm not going to teach you anything. Like just show up to your first PST. Like I'm not going to tell you how it goes. I'm not going to pre-brief you. When we get to evolutions, I will tell you what you're doing. So it was like, we're swimming. It's side stroke. If you don't know what that is, you're going to have to breaststroke. And I was like, okay, well, I can breaststroke. I'll do that. So I kicked it out as hard as I could, made time. And I was like smoked, but I'm like, all right, I'm here. So then it was, I remember where I was. I can't remember the town, but I could visually map this place out. Like it was just like, I'll remember forever. And then I did the push-ups. I just did everything with all of the power that I had in my little body, and I was dying on everything because, you know, I'm like a longer dude too. So the pull-ups were crazy hard for me. And he's like, if you get 15 pull-ups, you're pretty much good to go, buddy. Like just get 15. And, you know, I'm hanging on the bar at 13, just dead. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And I got like 2, and he's a hard dude. And so he gave me that last one. That's the only thing I've ever seen him give anyone. He'd like let me have that last one for an auto qual, basically.
How old were you here? 20, 19?
19.
How much did you weigh back then?
Oh man, I must have weighed 170.
170, like what, 6 foot, 6'1", somewhere in there?
I think I was 6'2" then. I'm 6'3" now. I grew like an inch or so.
Yeah, you're pretty thin. Yeah,
I was super thin, real stringy. Yeah. Pull-ups are crazy hard if you're stringy.
Yeah.
You just don't have that like good body size to knock that kind of stuff
Unless
out.
You're
but
David Goggins.
Yeah, the perfect man.
Dude, have you ever seen him do pull-ups?
No.
Whew. Freak.
Dude, I'll tell you what, the way I got good at pull-ups eventually was doing toes to bars.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
You do a lot of them and you learn that your body should exist at that angle off of the bar, where you're kind of like, you're not straight up and down.
Yeah.
You have your, whatever you would call it, like your deltoids are pushing forward. You know what I mean? And you hang off the bar like that. And I could crank pull-ups after that.
Really?
Yeah. That was the only thing that did it though. I would do weighted pull-ups. I could, at my peak, I could do 5 good strict pull-ups with 125.
Holy.
Like for real. And barely affected my gross pull-up number at all.
Wow.
But over time, I started doing some more CrossFit type stuff, did toes to bars, and then like up and down really easy.
Yeah.
But that is like my whole Bud story really, is that I didn't know what it was. I got really lucky and auto-qualled, and then I got a really good score on the ASVAB. So to answer your question in an incredibly long and roundabout way,
so what were
my second choice was Nuke, because they made me.
Me too. That's what I did.
Yeah. They were like, your second choice has to be Nuke because you got a 92. And I was like, why? And they were like, because you have to.
They did the same thing for me. Do you know why I picked Nuke though? I picked it because if I was going to fail in Buds.
Money.
No, not the money. If I was going to fail in Buds, I wanted to hide myself in a fucking submarine underneath a goddamn ocean to hide my guilt and shame.
And hide by the core reactor so you can get cancer.
Exactly.
Just kill me.
I'm in something that can like literally wipe countries off the earth. That's the best I could do.
Yeah, it could just make you feel good that you knew like if you just messed it up a little bit, like you could just be gone.
All right. So this leads us into, so you made it through that. You got accepted into Buds, right? So then you go through boot camp. So for those that don't understand, so you could get accepted into the Buds program pre-going to Buds or whatever, or pre-going to, like Navy boot camp. So what happens is you wait for your point to go into the military. It's called depping in, DEP. And then you get picked up in a bus and you're treated like a prisoner. Okay. They shave your head. They take everything, all your belongings. They give you new crappy sandals and just shower kits. And you feel like you're legit a prisoner. They send you off to Great Lakes, Illinois. And your boot camp's 10 weeks long?
Oh God, dude.
I think it's 10 weeks long. And like my experience with boot camp was worse than Hell Week. Like I fucking hated boot camp. We had a winter boot camp. There was
winter boot camp sucks, bro.
In Illinois, winters are cold and it's windy. Like the wind doesn't stop just because it's winter. Like Chicago, that area, like it's windy year round. It's not just during, so imagine freezing cold temperatures, wind just that doesn't quit, and you're going through boot camp and you're doing marches and you got flags and all this dumb stupid military boot camp shit that you got to do. And so you go through all that, and then they have you lined up because you pass that PST test that Liam was talking about. Then right after boot camp, they give you like a week off or 2 weeks off, and then you go straight into pre-buds. Pre-buds takes about 8 to 10 weeks. I can't remember exactly, but it's there in Illinois. So you're still stuck in Illinois and you're still having to be around all these regular fleet boot camp, and nothing but respect to those people, because we signed up thinking we're going to be Navy SEALs. They signed up knowing that they're going to just be regular Navy fleet. And I got nothing but respect for them because, like, in terms of the military, especially the Navy, like if you're special forces, you got a Gucci job. Like we don't have to put up with nearly the amount of bullshit that regular military guys and women have to put up with. So you go through that. And then once you get to pre-buds, you have about 8 to 10 weeks where you have Olympic coaches that are training you how to swim, how to run, how to do proper pull-ups, push-ups, and they're trying to give you the tools you need to be the best version of yourself before you go into Navy SEAL training. And you still have tests that you have to pass. And once you get through those tests, you're good to go. And you get basically flown out to San Diego. And from San Diego, you go to Coronado Island. And this is where the BUDS training compound is on Coronado Island. That's where a huge naval base is. And when you walk in there, it's changed a little bit. I think the BUDS compound is still in the same spot, but they moved the teams to IB, Imperial Beach, right? So
yeah, they're changing stuff.
So I'm taking you, Liam, to the moment you got off the bus, right in front of the quarterdeck at BUDS. Okay, BUDS stands for Basic Underwater Demolition School. And this is day one of Navy SEAL training. If you want to become a Navy SEAL, you have to go through a gauntlet of fucking months and months and months of fucking very strenuous training. And this is what, this is what everybody, they want to know. They try to look up YouTube videos. They try to figure out what this is all about. Am I capable of this? So day one, you get off the bus, you're at the quarterdeck. You're walking through the door of the quarterdeck to get onto the BUDS compound. And right above the door is the plaque that says, "The only easy day was yesterday." And you're passing under that. Take me through that moment.
Dude, I mean, so being a 19-year-old kid, showing up were you young when you showed up?
I was a little bit older. I was 25.
Okay. So being a 19-year-old kid, I don't know, the movies that I liked when I was a kid. So my dad died when I was little, and we used to watch movies oh God, dude, I'm gonna fucking space it. But our favorite movie that we watched together was The Matrix, and kind of movies where you'd build up, Starship Troopers. Starship Troopers was our shit.
I fucking love that movie.
By the way, so epic.
I think they're making a remake of it. By the way,
I hope it's good.
Just a heads up.
I hope it's good, dude. So the cool thing about Starship Troopers is that it's also a book that's in the Marine College
and it's
mandatory reading.
Sorry.
Dude,
just had to throw that out
with
there.
Diz.
Yeah,
and you get to see Diz's titties. That was sick.
Dude, the people commenting on these videos are like, "Stop fucking cutting them off when they're talking." So I'm sorry. I'm working on it,
bro. Please. So you see Starship Troopers cool shit, where they're grinding and everyone's scared and people's heads are getting blown off in training, and they're just going as hard as they can. They're getting tattoos together. They're getting whipped. You're for kids like me, I'm dude, cut my head off. I just kill me. I want that bad. I want to be a martyr almost, you feel that whatever the Hajj feel for their God, they just want to explode. I wanted to explode with energy. You know what I mean? And so when you show up, boot camp is super gay. So, and for the layman, when we say something's gay, it means it's hard and it's annoying and it's long and it's arduous and you're tired. So it's super gay. Lame, no credit, no credibility, right? You're going from zero status to negative 20 status, you're a nobody at home and now you're a negative nobody. Everyone hates you instead. So then you get to prep. We had Goggins in prep. So our runs were absurd. I'd never
Wait, he was one of your instructors?
He was our run guy. Yeah.
No fucking way.
Super motivating, really motivating guy. Whatever anyone says about him, he can work a crowd. And, one of the harder runs that was the hardest run in my life to that point. We ran, 10 miles. It was almost... No, it was a Black Flag winter day. Oh. So we were running in the snow and I got back and I legit had icicles coming off my ears and my hat. And I'm yanking on my ear like this.
Wait. On Coronado?
No. BUDS Prep.
Oh, BUDS Prep.
BUDS Prep in Chicago.
Okay. My bad.
And I legit am yanking on my ear. Because I thought it was another icicle. I'm seeing icicles on other dudes' hats, because we're running with those stupid hats. And then I'm yanking on my ear and someone's like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm trying to get this icicle off my hat." She's like, "Bro, it's your ear." I was like, "Dude, okay, this is pretty metal." I thought that was cool.
This thing's massive.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, "Dude, what is this? I'm really ripping on it. And then Goggins gave us this motivating speech, and then we got shipped out to Buds. And then you get there and you see the plaques, you see all this heritage. And it's the first time you get exposed to anything cool in the military, right?
Yeah.
Like boot camp is so lame. Like you're just seeing sneezy, gross kids blowing their noses and putting them in their pockets. You're like, dude, what were you in your former life? Like a total freak? Why are you here?
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't want you around me. You know, there's plenty of that in boot camp where you're like, dude, you get away from me. You get away from me. You guys seem great. And then you finally show up to the Buds compound. You're like, whoa, this is it. This is what you worked for, right? Because you almost show up when you walk through those doors and you see the grinder for the first time. You almost think like, and the crazy thing is you think you're going to get off the bus to Buds, and it's going to be like, they're going to kill you right now. You know, they're going to eat you like a pack of dogs. And you really get off, and it is an in-dock. Like they need you all. There's too many of you. They need you all to get your shit, get unpacked, and get through the system and be on base. Yeah. Like admin has to happen. It's just the military. It's bureaucratic. You don't understand that as like a 19-year-old kid. You're like, dude, what's happening? Like no one's killing me right now. Yeah. And so you see the grinder and you're looking at it and you're like, dude, this is it. Like this is Starship Troopers. This is their grinder. This is their like simulation of war. This is sick. I was so excited. And I maintained that attitude the whole time. I had a really cool Master Chief in first phase. Our entire first phase staff was obviously just all combat vets. And they just keep you motivated. I mean, they're having fun. They're making jokes. They're making your life hell. But it's such a sick experience for a kid like me where I'm like, dude, I've never done anything ever. You know, I didn't understand that you could skydive as a regular guy. You know, I thought you had to be a Red Bull athlete first and you had to be sick at skateboarding or something. And then they let you go do cool stuff. You know, you can't rock climb being from Cleveland, Ohio, you know, like I just didn't think there was anything for me to do. And, you know, you go throughout all of training and you just find out like, oh, dude, you can be whoever the hell you want to be. You got a pocket full of confidence and a good attitude. You can do anything. And the cool thing about the teams is it opens that door for you, you know, like for a regular guy to find out that you're that sweet, you know, like a Travis Pastrana type guy. I'm like, wow, that's incredible that you did that on your own. I needed a whole military behind me to tell me that I could do stuff like that. And then when you do it, you're like, oh shit, I'm kind of invincible. Yeah. Nothing's gotten me yet.
I'm kind of pretty fucking awesome.
This is sick. Yeah. It was a really, really good time.
So I remember when I walked through the quarterdeck. So the quarterdeck, for those that don't know, when you go onto a Navy base or a Navy ship or anything, you have to pass through a quarterdeck. And the quarterdeck is where you come in and you fill out a log, basically saying who you are, what time you got there, yada, yada, yada. And there's, you know, it's a very kind of official proceeding. They have like certain plaques, a certain, you know, it's very formal setting. And part of going through Buds is you have to stand watch on the quarterdeck. So anybody that passes through, you know, that's like the one way in, one way out, and it's through the quarterdeck. So you pass through this quarterdeck, and the first thing that you enter on the other side is a statue. I'm probably going to receive hate from the community, but the ugliest fucking frog statue you've ever seen in your fucking life. This thing's like 4 feet tall, and it's
beat up,
but it is. It's like that is the SEAL community. It's a very old statue somebody made a long time that was a representation of what a frogman was. And you can just imagine, think of the creepiest frogman statue that you could possibly think of. That's what it looks like. And it's probably worse than what you're thinking of. So, but we fucking love it. And that's the statue that stands right outside the quarterdeck on the Buds side. There's the public side, and then there's the Bud side. And once you're inside these confines, the first thing you walk into is this grinder, asphalt, huge square courtyard. And then when you come in, you look to your right, and so the first time I walked in, the thing about Buds you have to understand is that just because you're going into Buds as a class doesn't mean you're the only class that's there. There's typically 2 to 3 classes that are on that area at a given time, and they're going through different levels or phases of training. So, you know, you have like you're fresh, brand new coming in. There's a class that's been there for a few weeks. There's a class that's been there for a few weeks longer. And so like, as you're coming in, you look to your right and there's this long row of green helmets that are in a line on the ground. And you're like, I don't know what the fuck that means.
See,
but all I know is I know what Bud's class I am. And I know that is, it says the class before me. So I was class 278 coming in. I graduated 279, but I was class 278 coming in, and those all said 277. And so there must have been 30 helmets that are strewn out, and they're all stacked one by one in this really long line.
See, you know, and the thing is you said you're in the last Hard Buds class. The funny thing is when I looked to the left, that's where the green helmets end.
That's how far they were?
Oh, man. They were painting new numbers.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you ever get the opportunity to talk to a 305 guy, just talk about how many quitters they had. It was like when we were going through Buds Prep, our instructors were having the best time ever, right? Because the Buds Prep instructors would come in, they'd be like, they'd walk in, they'd go, okay, look around you guys. There's about 200 whatever people in here, right? There's like 220 kids in here. There's a massive group of people, right? You guys are jam-packed. It's hot in this room just with you gross turds breathing. And we're all like, it is hot in here. Yes. And they went up to the board and they go, okay, 1-7. They're like 17. Go ahead and look around. 17 of you are going to make it. 305 had 10 more kids than you and only 17 got it through. Ooh. And so when we show up to the grinder, you have like 100 and whatever helmets. I mean, it was unreal because you look from the right almost as far as you could see to the left, and you were like, okay.
You're talking about 40 yards. Like when you come out of that door into the grinder, you look right, it's about 40 yards to the end. So he's talking about, 40 yards plus another extra, 10, 20 yards?
It's like another 40.
Another 40.
Crazy. Yeah,
80 yards of these little helmets that you put on your head that represent you and your class, all strewn out of line. Those are all the quitters. I have to be clear.
Yeah.
The helmets on the ground. So every time you quit during Navy SEAL training in Buds, you have to go to the instructor's office, which is right over there by the helmets. You ring this bell. You announce yourself. You stand at attention. You ring this bell, and you announce yourself like whatever. Back then, you're a seaman, like or a seaman apprentice. I think I was a seaman apprentice when I came in. So seaman apprentice Johnson, right? And then they'll make you wait out there for probably like 10 or 15 minutes to give you a chance to think about whether you want to quit or not. And then if you're still there after like 10 or 15 minutes, they'll be like, come in. And you'll walk into the instructor's office, and basically you have to tell them like, I'm quitting. And they'll sit there and go, okay, take your helmet off, set it out there with the rest of them. So every single one of these, you're talking about hundreds of helmets that are lined up on here, all quit. All of their dreams up in smoke, just like that, just poof. And so that's the first entrance into the fucking Buds that's what you're looking at. A crazy fucking frog statue.
Yeah.
And then like the sign right before you walk through the quarterdeck that says the only easy day was yesterday. And then that. And you're like, oh fuck.
And a massive row of defeat. to just draw in energy.
Misery. Which at the time was very intimidating.
Oh, dude, it's scary. Yeah.
But then once you're in there and you start to see people quitting,
and you're like, oh, I'll get you all.
So what got me? So I told you I had like my my instructor he was supposed to be like my mentor when I was doing like the Navy SEAL PSTs or whatever to see if I qualified to go to Buds. He was non-existent. God bless him. I still love him.
No, it's not he wasn't a Buds mentor. He was a team guy mentor.
Exactly. Let's
get beers. Exactly. Talk about how tough you are. And that's how tough you are.
Like, I'm fucking Wednesday. I think you're going to make it, bro.
You're a fucking like, bad dude, bro.
But he was right.
Mentored.
But yeah, I mean, it's like, so, I go through this whole experience and I get through there. And one of the things is like Liam was talking about is like when you class up, you're with over a couple hundred people in your class. And I don't remember what our number was when we started with, but it was really high. We had like a very high number class. So you go in there and I get there and there's like people that have done this before and they didn't make it and they got kicked out. They got recycled to the fleet and got to come back in 2 years to try it again. So you have like this like percentage of the class, maybe 25% that have already gone through it and tried before, didn't make it. And they're trying again. And then the rest of us are like first timers. And so I'm going through this whole process and I'm realizing that like, I don't fucking know shit. I didn't do any homework. I didn't research. I don't know what's to come. I was just like, I want to be a Navy SEAL. I'll figure it out. So I come into this whole thing like basically going, I'll just figure it out on the fly. And I get there and there's like 200 people that are like, no, dude, you have to go take your boots out to the water to loosen them up, your socks, like everything. You have to break it all in. There's like, they had like this whole strategy of shit that they had to do to get ready for breakout and like Hell Week and, all these different things. And I'm like, I don't know shit. My fucking mentor was awful. God, fuck that guy, And so I'm sitting here and I'm coming in there and I'm short. I'm 5'7", 5'8" on a good day. I'm like 155 pounds at the time, and I'm coming in there and there's these guys that look like they're fucking like NFL linebackers. Yeah. They're just,
jacked.
Yeah, they're like, and I'm like, fuck, I might have bit off more than I could chew.
We had a kid who was like that, and he was and this is his build. Okay, like the crazy thing is, you go to Buds and you have Olympic athletes, you have college, like kids who are winning Heisman's, right? You have Olympic athletes, you have all these incredibly storied people who are so good at what they do, and at the end of the day, you kind of show up. Especially if you're like me. And I was like, okay, well, I'm 19. I came from a D2 high school. Okay. So there's like 150 kids in my graduating class.
D2, what is that? We have A class.
Yeah, like A. So
it's backwards, right?
Is single A big or small?
Single A is small in terms of high school.
So I think
that's the
like,
smallest.
It's around single A or double A because we had 150 kids.
Oh, okay. So it's backwards, right? So the D system is like, so D2 would be considered like a 4A high school.
Probably
right?
Something like that. And then a D1 high school is everything else. Like
a 5A high school or 6A is the biggest now here in Texas. We have 6A.
For us, a D1 is the big one.
Okay. All right.
And then, it goes all the way down to like D4, D5. And it's like 3 kids.
Mine.
And so... kind of screws you over on that.
Figure it out.
Oh yeah, you want to get it. And so
still
you
treating
show
like
up
a
there, and you have all these monster personalities, all these crazy dudes. And so the best. Do you remember who like the absolute monster athlete was for you? Like, do you remember the one guy? Did you have one guy?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I won't say his last name, but his first name was Chase, and he lives here in Austin now.
Oh no, did he make it?
Yeah, he made it.
Okay.
Yeah,
so we had one guy who every instructor, I don't know if I was on these lists, but they make their little lists, right? And Buds Prep and Buds and everything. And we all just knew that this one guy was on it. I only know his last name, so I'm not going to say it.
Actually, OIC was fucking massive too. But
was
go ahead.
Yeah. Well, the officers are different, dude. They have training. They have awareness.
A little different.
They're training with each other. They have all these opportunities, and we're just low down here. We're these scumbags just trying to get some. And this dude, so he literally was the most jacked. Like he's like 6 foot. So he's not a small guy. Maybe like he really was like 6 foot. He was pretty tall, and he was wide as shit, full on triangle. And where he got all his size was he was a professional, like national medal winning. I think he may have won gold, but that's debatable. Like it's like a lifeguard trainer, like lifeguard. It's a lifeguard fucking whatever it is. It's like a lifeguard 5K, but they run the beach, literally what we do. They swim open ocean, literally what we do. And then they come over and do a small obstacle course and they finish.
Lifeguards?
Yeah, it's like some lifeguard competition. Apparently being a lifeguard is super lucrative as a younger guy. Like
what?
You get paid. Yeah. Like on the big beaches, you get paid. Anyone can verify that one for sure. And I didn't know this either. But so he's like, yeah, I've won the lifeguard games a couple years in a row or some shit like that. And I was like, oh my God, dude, his voice is super fucking deep. He's crazy good looking. He's the only dude who looks good with his hair buzzed. Straight up. And he was chiseled. And I was just like, dude,
did he run in slow motion?
No, he ran fast as shit, dude. He was so fast, bro. And so I just like remember looking at that guy like, okay, he's going to make it. But never in my mind was did I doubt myself because of him? I was like, he is going to make it, but me too. Like everyone else is behind this guy, so I'll make it too. And I remember when he fucking quit, bro. Like it was unbelievable to me. Soft sand run. We just went a little farther than you'd think you'd run, maybe with a ruck or something. And you just see him ring out, and everyone was like, "Bro, did you see that shit?" Like, people owe people money right now. Like this dude is a shoe-in.
Yeah, to everything.
And you just never know. You just show up there. You think you're with giants, and I'm just a total nobody. I was good at sports in high school, but what does being good at sports at a high school with 150, 200 kids really even mean? Right? There's no competition. Oh yeah, you're in the county as an all-star. It's like, so like against 4 other kids who I know. So then you basically think, okay, so now that guy's out. You have all these other dudes who have, you know, stories to tell and they're Olympians and whatever. And now it's just like, well, fuck it. You all suck and I'm the man now. Like I'm coming for everybody.
Oh, so that puts you at the top.
Oh, dude, I felt so good about myself. I was never the fastest guy, but if it was a shitty run, I was there. If anything hurt, I'm there. I'm like, I'm in the top. I'm in the top 5. Yeah. If it was hard to do, top 5. Yeah. Everything else, like just 4 miles. It's like, I just want to finish.
So when we got there, we classed up. The first thing they do is they put you in this long line, and it's from tallest to shortest. So imagine 250 people, kids, you know, young college-age males in a very long line from tallest to shortest. And I was like 7 boat crews. Then they divide you up into 6s along that line. I was 7 boat crews. I remember specifically 7 away from the Smurf crew. And you don't want to be the fucking Smurf crew because they get we get shit on the whole time. Short guys, you're not gonna let the Smurf crew beat you, are you? And then the fucking taller guys, they find that extra gear because they can't get beat by the Smurfs, you know, and blah 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 blah. So I'm 7 boat crews away. I'm like, sweet, awesome.
I'm in the middle. I got all these guys around me.
Dude, by the end of the first day, Smurf crew. Everybody quit. Everybody quit underneath me. So imagine 6 crews times 7 people.
On the first day.
42 people on the first day.
7 boats on the first day. I can't remember
First day. And so as people quit, they have to reorganize the boats because in order to carry the boats overhead, you have to be in similar height. Otherwise, the tallest people are holding the majority of the weight.
Right.
So in order to make sure that everybody is pulling their own weight and having to, you know, do their own thing, they have to divvy you up. So within that, I became the tallest person in the Smurf crew. And like, you know, and everybody's quitting. But like Liam said, is like, you get to this point where you're sitting there. But one of the things that like really gave me a perspective advantage is, do you remember when we would line up after eating, like the galley? You would line up and tallest were in the front and shortest were in the back. Okay. So one advantage of being in the Smurf crew is I was at the very back every single time. And I got to see all the quitters that would quit as they were waiting. So after you finish eating, you had to line up in ranks of 4. And so as you're sitting there, you're waiting for these other people to finish. And then once they finish, their boat crew will come out and then everybody will get into the positions or wherever they need to be. And so being at the back afforded me the opportunity to see when people would quit, because that was the most people in my class that quit. They quit while they were put in positions where they had to stop moving and they had time to think. So you're going through hell. Imagine you're going through hell. And you're like, as long as you keep moving, you're like, well, okay, we're all going through hell together. But the second you give these guys a little bit of moment to think, whether it's 10, 15, 20 minutes where they're just sitting idle, that's when their brain starts to wander and their brain starts to think. And so like they know the next evolution that's coming and they're sitting there going, do I really want this? Do I really need this? Like, I know I want to be a Navy SEAL, but do I really need it? I don't think I really need it. You know? And so like I would see people from the back as part of the Smurf crew. I would see all the taller guys up ahead of me. And I would see one guy and you could tell, like he'd start sitting there, his head would go down and he'd look over and then he would just step out of the ranks because you're standing at attention this whole time. Imagine ranks standing at attention. He would take a step and just start walking away from the ranks towards the quarterdeck. Or towards the quarterdeck to quit, to ring the bell. And then the crazy thing is you would see one person do it and then you would see another person go,
well, if he's going to do it.
They would look at him and be like, well, fuck, I didn't think I could make it as long as he did. So fuck it. So I'd see 5 or 6 people all leave at once off of the fucking ranks. And I remember sitting there going, like you were talking about how these are people that I thought I didn't hold a candle to. They knew about getting your boots wet and like working them in. They knew this, they knew that. And what I realized is that they knew too much. They knew the order of what was to come and they knew what was still left. Whereas me going into it blind, I had no fucking idea what was coming. I was just living for the day. As long as I make it through the day, I'm a winner.
Yeah.
Like they teach you.
Yeah.
But these guys they learned too much. They did too much research ahead of time that they psyched themselves out from finishing.
I can believe that.
They were all capable of finishing, but they knew what was coming and they were afraid of what was coming. Like, so
I think you combine that with the fact that some dudes did have better shit to do. You know, like,
maybe.
like
I don't know.
I personally have nothing to do. Like, I'm not going back to something cool. I haven't learned anything in college. I have no job, no offers. Nobody gives a shit what I do. And I'm stubborn and I hated everyone. That's what got me through, dude. Truly, like really, like I hated everyone. So when it came to getting in boat crews and getting in height lines, the thing that got me through all of training was we'd be getting into height lines. I'd be like, I'm taller than you, fucking loser. Get the fuck away from me. Or, you know, people would be jostling around because they're trying to, you know, you'd see the rollbacks and they're trying to get like the toughest dudes together, right? And everyone's kind of like jostling around because you're all close. You're right. And if I would be anywhere but like where I thought my height was, because I was also like honest to a fault for that kind of thing. You know, like when dudes would sag their backs or put a knee down for push-ups or holding a plank, right? I didn't realize anyone was doing that. Like for real. I thought everyone was trying their 1,000% hardest, breaking down all of their muscles, their backs, their ligaments to try to hold a plank, just shaking. And some dudes do, and some dudes game it. And I had no idea, right? I tried to do everything exactly right.
Yeah, you don't get rewarded for doing what you're supposed to do.
No, there's no reward. You're getting beat every day. You're doing an evolution. Yeah. You're getting beat. You're doing an evolution. That's it. There's a schedule. You have to hit the schedule.
Yeah. You think you're doing these things, what he's talking about, you think that by doing the proper form and like literally putting in all the effort that you're going to fucking get a reward or a gold star.
Yeah, dude,
there's
convinced.
No fucking gold star.
Dude, I thought for sure, if we did 10 perfect push-ups, all 200 of us, if we all fucking locked in and did 10 perfect push-ups, that was it. I was sure that they were being honest. And then later I learned, you know, your body's going to bust. And they're like, bro, no, that's not true. Yeah. And it was like, wait, like I legit remember asking a buddy, I'm like, hey, dude, so like, do they ever do 10 perfect push-ups? And he's like, I don't know. Who cares? Yeah. I was like, wait, you're not watching? You have to be watching. I did them all. Dude, I was dialed. I was dying to try to get that done. And I think to your point, just not knowing and just knowing that like today in this moment is all you have. Hate everyone around you. Want to be better than everybody. Have something to prove. Have a chip on your shoulder. Because otherwise, and truly, this isn't everybody. You know, we both know really nice guys in the teams who, you know, we're just going through buds like, yeah, I just want to crush it and I want to be the best man I can be. And it's like some of those dudes make it. And that's incredible. Yeah. Because without hate and the desire to be better than other people, there's no way I would have made it. That's all I wanted to do while I was there. The only thing I wanted to do was look at people that were around me and be like, we're going to do this together, but I want to be the best and I want you to know it.
I just want acknowledgement that I'm the best.
Yeah, right. I just need praise. I'm so desperate for praise and attention that if I can't get it, I'm going to freak out.
Are we clear, guys? All right. I'm the only non-boat ducker. Okay.
Yeah. Listen, you can say stroke because you're the officer, but everyone know that I'm pulling the hardest. That's why we're turning left.
Okay. So on the subject, going through Hell Week. Okay. What was your one experience going through Hell Week that sticks out in your mind the most?
That's tough because I have a few and it's like such a blur, right? Where you're like the moments that you have, you're like, those are the moments. But I'll tell you,
give me your hardest and also weirdest.
I think they're the same. Oh, you know, I'll give you two for that. So the hardest for me, so our breakout was starting, right? And I don't know if you have like a class LPO, like the instructor LPO. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My instructor LPO, who's running our class, is like a good dude. He's cool, but he's not giving us anything. He's still, you know, beating us, whatever. You know, he's not like a hugger or whatever that, you know, that's what they call it if you're too soft. And I'm basically walking out to go take a shit, and I had to. And he was like, he looks at me and he's like, fuck, bro, hurry up. And I was like, oh my God. It's so before Hell Week starts, you're sitting in a classroom on Sunday, taking weird, lucid nightmare naps and just trying to prep and eat enough Snickers bars to have the energy to get through the week, you know? And I'm walking out to go to the bathroom and I look at this dude and he's just like, hurry up, bro, hurry. I was like, oh shit, dude. Do I milk this? Like, he let me go to the bathroom. And I know the second I get back, we're breaking out. So I go to the bathroom. I'm like walking out like, how do you prep? How do you prep when you know you're the absolute start to Hell Week? And so I'm like, I walk out of the bathroom. He looks at me and he's like, yo, break on. And he yells it. And I was just like, I knew it. And so we start going and, you go Sunday night into Monday.
Explain what a breakout is first.
So breakout is basically the most stress they can put you under, right? It's like, imagine you're going to run an ultra marathon. And to do this ultra marathon, you have to lie in a room and wait for a whole 24 hours. They can break you out the second you sit down or at the very, very end, or they could extend, because who gives a shit? You don't get paid to be here.
And fuck you for even fucking coming.
Yeah, right. It's really, you came here for fun.
We hate you.
We hate you. We hate you because you want to be us and you can't, because we're hot and you're ugly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And so you sit down in this room and you're just watching video after video after video, trying to get motivated, right? So what do we watch? Gladiator, of course. Like, we're just watching all these movies about warriors going through hard times. And it's like, probably would rather watch, like Happy Madison films, like, anything that's funny, but we're just trying to get pumped. So you're just falling asleep in this room, you're waiting, and that outside they're setting up something, right?
You can hear them.
They're setting shit up. There's a tent. You can't go this way. You can go use the bathroom. You can eat the food that your class squared away, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting there waiting. The anticipation is the worst part of any evolution. And so you have a whole day of anticipation. You're just like, oh my God, when is this going to happen? This is so awful. Like, I just want to start. Like, just get me to the point where I can't take anymore, and let's let that ride out. Yeah. I would rather have that than this. Yeah. And so that's breakout. And when you actually get there, right? So once I finish taking a shit and you walk outside, then you have dudes running on 48s, shooting blanks out into the sky, smoke bombs, like flashbangs. You have everything that could be crazy and disorienting going on. And they're basically just hosing you down, getting you wet, making you hit the surf. And then you're going through a full-on grinder PT, whatever time of day that is that they decide for you to go. And they change it for every class, so you guys can't guess. And so you start getting beat. And I had that full experience. It was great. Like, once you start, I was like very motivated. I was very happy. I just wanted to be done waiting. And the only shitty thing, the hardest part of Hell Week for me, was the fact that my throat closed immediately. So by Monday, my throat was so swollen closed that, like, drinking Gatorade, like, it was like strep, right? Where you have like really, really bad strep. Oh, fuck. You drink anything and you're like, oh, it feels like glass, right? There's actually some disease going around. I think it's born in California somewhere, but they're saying it's like the throat glass disease, right? And it's just some strain of strep, and that's how it felt, right?
It's the vaccine.
It's everything's the vaccine.
COVID vaccine.
Everything's the vaccine. And so my throat closed immediately. Felt like I was drinking glass for days, and so I couldn't eat. I couldn't drink really. And I would drink because you just like have to, like your body is like, I'll push through this for sure. But otherwise my throat was super close. So you go to that first med check, they open up my throat and the doc's like, well, your throat's all the way closed, so you're probably not having a good time eating, right? And I was like, no, I can't. Like, I'm trying, but it hurts so bad that I get down a quart, like maybe a tenth of what everyone else does. So they gave me pills that I'm sure were just some antiviral bullshit. And then they gave me 2 or 3 peanut butter shots, like, which is just a giant penicillin shot. It's a penicillin shot so big that when they give it to you, you actually have a lump on your ass. So I got a couple of those. Didn't help.
Yeah,
but whatever.
It's not actual peanut butter for those like
for the protein's sake.
We call it the peanut butter shot, but literally it's like the one shot that when you're going through buds or you're going through boot camp and then buds, they give you this shot. They call it the peanut butter shot because it's so fucking thick when it comes into your body. Like Liam said, it leaves a lump, but it's also the most painful fucking shot you've ever fucking had.
It's like 100 milliliters of penicillin. So it's like really thick and big.
Yeah.
Nice. And so I got a couple of those. I got DP'd by penicillin shots. And then for the rest of the time, just I never could eat. So that was like, for me, that was the hardest part. Because in all of training, I love that team guys all feel this way because I love to feel close to team guys. But, getting to food is big. right? Like I'm thinking about food. So I want to get to food. And that's how I was in all of Buzz. That's even how I was in the teams, right? Like you're doing evolutions. I want to eat. Like that's what I want to get to.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. Like I would get there and I would sit there and I would try to eat. It was too hot. It would burn my mouth and it was way too hot for my throat. Right. So I would sit there and then I would fall asleep. And then if you fall asleep, guess what? You're getting wet and you don't want to get wet. You just want to sit down and eat something, but I can't eat. So basically that was like my nightmare, right? Is I couldn't eat. I couldn't enjoy getting to chow. Like you would finish your chow run and I would get inside and it'd be warm, but I couldn't eat. So everyone's kind of pigging out like, oh yeah, finally hot chow. Couldn't do it. So I'd have to walk over to the instructors, get my pills, come sit down and try to eat. And basically I would do this thing where I would fall asleep. But when I was a kid, I got like pretty big eyes. So when I would fall asleep, when I was a little kid, my eyelids wouldn't close. Yeah. And I would kind of be like right here all night. And I was doing that at my plate. And so I had this instructor who would come over to me and be like, Cogan, I don't know if you're fucking sleeping right now. But if you don't stop doing that weird shit with your eyes, I'm going to assume you're asleep. And I'm going to fucking beat you instead of you getting to eat. And I was like, all right, roger that. And then, you know, my whole boat crew's around you at that lunch.
They didn't help you out, your boat crew?
They're trying to.
Yeah. Okay.
I couldn't help it. Because if you can't eat when you're supposed to eat, and I'm just sitting at a table and it's warm, I'm just like, okay, don't fall asleep. Can't eat, can't do anything. Just sit here. It's like, no chance, dude. So I would start falling asleep again. And basically I learned that I could go to the Porta-John and I could sit in there. And so I would go to the Porta-John and be like, hey, I'm having VG. I'm going to shit my pants. They'd be like, all right, go to the Porta-John. And so I would just go sit in there. And I would fall asleep for like 5-6 minutes.
That's a good move.
And then everyone would come back outside and I would slip out of the Porta-John. And I would snake over to my boat crew. They'd be like, bro, you're good. Just get on. And I'd snake over to my shit and I would be like, here I am. You know, so
ready to go. I've been here the whole time.
I've been here the whole time. Who's ducking boat? Who's being a bitch? Like that.
Did you fall asleep?
Who's sleeping? Who slept? Fuck. So I couldn't eat. So I would just get like 5 minutes of sleep, you know, and you only eat in the chow hall, twice. So that happened like 2 times. That was for sure the hardest because not being able to eat, being crazy extra tired from the lack of like nutrition. But you're just chugging red Gatorade or orange Gatorades, whatever the fuck they had. And you're just doing what you can. Because you'll survive on water. Yeah, I was fine.
You made it through. You survived.
I was totally fine. I just couldn't eat as much as everybody else.
And how long did that last? You're talking about first phase.
Yeah.
Correct?
So
this is pre or post Hell Week?
That's all of Hell Week.
All of Hell Week.
All of Hell Week. From Monday to Friday to the following weekend. I couldn't really eat.
The worst week to possibly contract this
so lame.
You made it through Hell Week with like strep throat, basically.
But everyone's got something, right? Like everyone's got their Hell Week.
Nobody has strep throat, though.
I don't think it's that uncommon. I think if you pulled a lot of team guys,
pretty uncommon. That is, I've never heard of a single team guy that went through Hell Week with strep throat.
I'll tell you what, I can't take any credit though, because my buddy, who I won't name, when he would breathe for all of Hell Week, sounded like this. And he made it, dude. That's pretty hardcore.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know. He had like bronchitis and he developed it on like probably Tuesday or Wednesday. And so if you would start running boats, you would just hear him and you'd be like, dude, you're so hard. We all love you, man. Like that's so hard. How do you not
laugh though? That's fucking hilarious.
Dude, because it hurt. You know, like you're looking at him and you're like, fuck, dude, that's so awful.
Dude, I had a guy when we were pre-Hell Week that he was a roommate and he talked me into coating my whole body in
lube, Astroglide.
In lube. Yeah. Or like, whatever it was. And
you won't chafe at all, bro, for sure.
Yeah. He's like, do your whole body.
The sand will only stick to everything.
So I'm like, I was stupid as fuck. I was like I told you, I had no direction. I had no advice given to me. So I'm like, this guy knows what he's talking about. All right. So I coated my whole body in this shit and we took a picture breakout the night before.
Dude, that sucks.
Pre-breakout, me and him are like, yeah, we're gonna make it.
We're so smart. You're basically
So,
sandpaper.
Get this. So we're covered in this glistening shit, right? Head to toe. We're like,
Ready
yeah,
for
nothing's gonna
war,
stick
bro.
to us, or no chafing whatsoever. Breakout happens. We start Hell Week. The next day, I find out that he quit, and I was like, what?
Was this a ruse?
Yeah, no. I was like, why did he quit? And they said he overheated. So
yeah, because your pores can't breathe. You're chafing like crazy.
Exactly. So one thing about me, ever since I've been in sports since I was a young kid, is like I over excessively sweat.
Yeah.
Like I'm just a sweater. I got large pores.
Yeah.
And like when I would do like football, track, whatever it is, I'm just like, I sweat. Like that's just like it, like I've hated it. It's been like my cross to bear since I was a young guy. But in that moment, I realized what happened. Like all this shit that was covering me, I sweated it right off.
You ate it up and you sweat it off.
This fucking guy, he was another tall guy, but this guy fucking, it stuck to him. He couldn't sweat, so his body overheated, and he had no choice but to quit. And I was like,
what a tool.
Holy fuck. Yeah, fuck you for giving me bad advice. And,
good move, bro.
But thank God for the large pores.
That's insane, man. I mean, you hear of the dumbest shit
That's the
too.
weirdest shit.
Like, yeah, for real. Like, God, I don't know to what degree I own this story, but no names are named, and let that be known. But we've got a medical professional in buds, and some dudes have chafing on their cocks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just a fact. And so some dudes have a little extra skin up top, right? So this medical professional is trying to get the sleeve off. Okay, so cock sleeve off, to put a new one on, and begins cutting a little too much off the top.
Wait, cutting what?
His foreskin.
What?
Yes.
No fucking way.
But could you imagine going through Hell Week and you're getting taken care of and someone tries to circumcise you?
Holy
Insane.
Fuck.
Insane. It's like the worst thing you could do to a human being is do that to them. So while they're going through something, like the worst thing that could ever happen to you in your life is happening, and someone's like, why don't we just circumcise you right now?
What the fuck?
That's wild, right?
Dude, that's the craziest thing I've ever fucking heard.
As far as the medical stories go, that's the weirdest one.
I have no words for it.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, what do you say to that? That's insane.
Yeah.
The fact that he would even have fucking scissors next to something around your fucking dick, and that it would be that close.
It's like that old team guy mentality where, like, if you're not being tough about everything, you're being soft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Pussy, fuck, get your foreskin cut off.
Get this fucking thing off of here.
Yeah.
He's like, no.
Dude, okay, so first off, the sleeve that they're putting on there, the fact that it's that tight to where this guy's like, oh, God damn it, this is that thick part right here. And the
I
guy's
don't know
like,
if he tried that hard. You know, I think he just was like, you know, don't pussyfoot around. Like maybe the kid was like fumbling with it. Let's just call this like a story of a story.
Was he a hospital corpsman? That's another option you can choose. If you don't want to choose nuclear tech,
you can touch
your next option is hospital corpsman. And I think maybe he was a bud stud. He didn't make it through buds and he became a hospital corpsman.
Listen, I'm not going to confirm or deny anything because it's not my story to tell. However, just the fact that it happened is unbelievable.
Wow. That's fucking incredible.
I mean, you think of top 10 worst things that could happen to you while you're like in training.
Cut my fucking foreskin.
You cutting it is bad.
Yeah.
Someone else grabbing it and trying to cut it for you is insane.
Somebody you don't even like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck you.
So someone that you hate.
Fuck you for
Grabs
breathing.
your dick.
I'm going through a hell week. I'm fucking pissed off at the world right now. I haven't slept in 3 days. I'm fucking hungry. I'm miserable. I hate everybody around me. I hate you just for fucking breathing and having eyes and
now I'm gonna cut
wearing
your
that stupid
whole
fucking
dick
suit.
off.
You know what? And then that guy cuts your fucking foreskin, dude. He's lucky he didn't get fucking murdered with those same fucking scissors, like straight up.
Dude, wild, right? I mean, because weird shit happens in Hell Week. Weird shit can happen too, because you're delirious, you're having a hard time. There's time crunch left, right, and center. Like you've got to get things done. I mean, think about the what is it? What do we call it? The rat tail or the I'm talking about the thermometer for asses.
Oh, I don't remember what they call it, but yeah.
The ass thermometer, and some dude would have a little tail. You don't remember this?
I don't remember the tail part.
So there's a thermometer that you stick in there, like in an ass, which is where they check temperatures for team guys when you're going through Hell Week, because you can't get a good one from your mouth, armpit, or anywhere, and it's got to stick with you, right? So what's the best pocket you got on you? Asshole. Yeah. So they stick a little thing in there, and then you got a little mouse tail out of your pants, so you know who's like got one in, like who's rocking like one of those like remote butt plugs that jiggles.
I didn't know they leave them in there.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yes. Wow. Yeah.
So I got a good story to parlay off of this, but go ahead, keep going.
No. I mean, that's really it. It's just like one of those weird things where you think like, yeah, these are guys are going through Starship Troopers, when really you're going through like asshole plugging, like crazy weird shit, because logistics are wild, dude. They make people do weird shit. And it's an incredibly medical intensive event because people die when they do it. Yeah. And then the Navy's liable, unfortunately, which happens all the time. People think it only happened that one time with Kyle, what's his name, or when like a parent gets really upset and sues the teams, which if you're a parent out there and your kid's going to Buds, don't do that, because that doesn't help anybody. Yeah. It happens all the time. So they have to be as professional as humanly possible and as fast as humanly possible. And just it's boiled down to some weird shit. Yeah.
So when we were going through the teams, we were going through Hell Week. We had a guy, I'll just say his last name. His name was Proffer. That was his last name. And if he's out there, I just want that guy to know I miss him. He was fucking awesome. I love that guy. All right. So we're going through Hell Week, and so what Liam was saying is that they're constantly trying to monitor the internal core temperature of you as you're going through. So to the point where, like doctors are walking around with, medical equipment. We won't go too far into how advanced it gets.
The popsicle?
They're
not super advanced.
But certain things, chips and stuff like that they probably don't want, getting out there. But so they're trying to constantly monitor the internal core temperature of your body to make sure that you're not going to overhype, or not overhype. Well, you go through such extreme temperatures going through Hell Week, like really hot or really cold, and it's just constant like back and forth. So they're very careful to make sure that you're doing the right job to not die. Right? They don't want anybody to die on their watch. Like Liam said, there's a lot of people that go through. So we had one of our guys that got overheated, and Proffer, he was the guy. He was a good buddy of mine. So we're going through training. He was one of my best buds going through. We had a ton of fun in the rare free time that we had, and we're going through, and they're like, dude, Proffer's in the medical excursion or whatever.
Yeah, he had to go to med or whatever.
Yeah,
the tent, the van.
And I was like, fuck. And so when somebody gets pulled into the med van, they basically like make everybody stop, take a knee, grab some water, some chow if you have time or whatever. And so next thing we know, like, and ambulance is pulling up and taking Proffer out there. So they take Proffer away, and he's gone. And so we're going through the rest of the day, and you don't know what happens. Like if somebody gets pulled away from, the class, it's not like everybody knows what's happening. You can't go visit him at the hospital. It's like it's one of your guys, one of your boys, and now he's gone. He's at a hospital, and he's there all day. So finally, at the end of the day, this is like, imagine 10 hours later, sun's going down, and the instructor pulls us aside, and he sits everybody down. He's like, sit the fuck down. So we're like, fuck, we're going to find out what happened to Proffer, because they were saying his temperature was really high, like scary high. His internal,
like 109, like something unreal.
So we sit down, and everybody takes a knee, and this guy's sitting there, and he goes, I got some bad news. Like Chicago accent. Yeah. I got some bad news. And everyone's like, fuck. Because everybody knew Proffer. Everybody loved Proffer. He goes, your boy Proffer's dead. I like how you're laughing. Yeah. He goes straight up. He goes, your boy Proffer's dead. And the whole class stops, and they're staring at this instructor. Like nobody says a word, and he just sits on it. He goes, "Nah, I'm just fucking with you. He'll be fine. He'll be back tomorrow."
You guys will see him. He's good. He's gay though.
He loved the thing they stuck up his butt. Yeah.
He asked for another.
So, anyways, we could sit here and talk all fucking day about buds and Hell Week and all this shit. All I know is it was a lot of fun, and I love to hear the perspective of somebody else that went through it, and from their perspective, and like drawing parallels between your story and my story. And we'll definitely going to have you back on to talk about this, but we got about 30 minutes left in this podcast. I want to talk about where you decided to get out, and then from that point, your transition from the military to civilian world, civilian life, getting back, and then what you've been doing since then, and what's your new mission in life?
Yeah, man. So in the teams, and for those of you trying to go, and dudes who are there, and dudes who have been, and whoever just wants to know the story, when you get to the teams and you get into like the real roles of what is it to be a professional frogman, it's going to be a little different than what you thought. And every platoon has an attitude. Every platoon has a different kind of style. And every troop is different. Every team is different. Every cycle is going to be different. But one thing you can count on is Big Navy, right? Like you can always count on the rules being back there. Okay. And after a certain period of time, I got in 2013 and I got out in 2022. So that's a good chunk of time. If you're a civilian person, you think like, okay, we're still overseas. But really, you and I know that it's slowing down quite a bit, right? Between 2013 and 2022. So I actually showed up at a team in 2015. There's not as much going on, right? And I'm post 9/11, grew up in post 9/11 world. I joined to get after it. That's all I wanted. And so I didn't understand the fact that like, oh, guys grew up to be a frogman, right? Like you watch Charlie Sheen's Navy SEALs and you're like, bro, hanging out in Virginia Beach, going to Eagles Nest golf course and drinking 1,000 beers and whacking the ball from the golf cart. I never watched all that. I didn't know that, right? Like that wasn't part of who I was. I was more of like the act of valor kind of kid. Like I saw that, which is a recruiting video that the Navy put together. It was a movie. It dropped. It was great. But I wanted to be, like really, really active, or just at least give myself to like this big cause. And I did, and we did some cool shit, but I wasn't the guy who was the unreal, like we cleared 1,000 houses. We cleared 1 billion houses. Those were the guys before me, right before me in the platoons before that. But there were, there's like a 4 platoon space really. If you think about it, like if you were to show up to a team in the post 9/11 era, there's about a 4 to 6 platoon space if you were at one team, where you were truly going on like those are the fucking deployments, bro. Like that's what everyone knows. Those are the names. Those are the guys who got it. And I showed up after. I mean, it's truly what it is. And we did some cool shit. It just wasn't what I signed up to do. And I was a young man. I was committed to that. So I wasn't a team guy lifer, right? Like when I found out that it wasn't what I wanted it to be exactly, which I would never discourage a single dude from being a frogman. It is the coolest shit in the world. You want to meet chicks, you want to be the man, you want to travel the world, grow confidence, be somebody, go, right? Like if you're a young man and you want to be somebody, go try to be a frogman, go be a SF dude, go be a Green Beret, go be somebody for real. You want to go to a cool college and get a cool degree, that's cool, but eventually you're going to want to meet us.
Yeah.
And if you
want to
have
to prove your manhood at some point,
you're going to have to arm wrestle a frog.
Yeah.
It is stupid. And, like everyone has their validity. Everything is cool. But truly, like there is a sect of men that want to do this. And that's amazing. And there were dudes that I knew that are still in, that are crushing it, that have wanted to be frogs, and they will always be a frog. And that is the coolest. I love those guys. It just wasn't me, like
Me
I signed up for a purpose.
Me too.
And that purpose started to fizzle. And so I was like, okay, this is kind of, I don't care anymore, and do you want that guy in the teams? It's the Crusades out there. You got the cross tattooed across your chest. Like you're ready to live and die by the teams. I don't want to be the guy who's slowing the train down, bringing in energy where I'm like, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that, you know? So
that's a great way to put it.
It's hard, right, to explain it because it is really cool. But it is crazy demanding, you know, and you're putting your body through a lot. It's a very, very high cost, you know, the TBIs that I got, and I got 2 TBIs just from like doing my own stuff, rock climbing and snowboarding, but combine those with being a breacher instructor and being a breacher, and your body stops working the right way, and not just your body, but your brain. And, you know, so
Can you go into detail on that a little bit?
The easiest way to explain this, and people are looking for a very kinetic way, right? Like, how is this affecting you physically? So isolation, anger, losing like relationships, having fuzzy brain, those are intangibles to people. Like, why would you change as a human being? Like, sometimes we kind of just think about it that way. Like, if you're an angry guy, you're just an angry guy. But sometimes, no, there's something going on with your brain. But the real physical stuff, one is that your man parts do not work as well. And those are things that we're afraid to talk about. It sucks to talk about, but like the way the doctors are going to call it is that's the canary in the coal mine. If the system's not working, you're not making more babies. That's what they say. Yeah. And so when you really start to experience that as a younger guy, you know, a 25-year-old guy, you're like, this doesn't make any sense. What's up with this? Right. Then you start to realize, okay, I need to fix something. Then you get into diet, you get into exercise, you get into all these different modalities of living your life, and then it comes back and you're fine. But I still am blind in the morning sometimes, you know, like I'll wake up and I have, I guess, what's called a migraine, and I can't look at a phone, a computer, or really anything, right? So my vision goes completely blurry, and I'm just like that for a while, and then it comes back and I'm chilling.
Yeah, I get the same thing.
And it's like, when you're a frog, you're like, okay, whatever. Yeah. Like, I'm alive today.
Yeah.
You know, my shit hurts. My brain is fuzzy, and I don't know another life. So you grow up like that, and you don't know any other life. You don't know what your friends back home are going through. You don't know what your family's going through. You know your life and your boys' lives, and pretty much everyone's sucking the dick. Like, everybody's like that. So you don't think it's special. You don't look for treatment. You don't seek help. And eventually you understand that cost is pretty high. You get out for a couple years. And that leads me into my transition. I transitioned out. And like I said earlier, I went into franchise business, which wasn't really healthy for me. It's just another focus on mission, operation. But it doesn't have the same unity and community that I needed to get through mission after mission after mission. So I needed to backpedal that, go be with a team guy, went out to my buddy's farm, 5,000 acre farm. We farmed it. And this is kind of where my life's mission was born. Is I got out. I had this job with status, certainty, and money. And I was like, dude, this is dope. Everyone thinks I'm super cool. I was a Navy SEAL. Now I'm an operator of a gym franchise. We've got a second gym. We're working on the third one. I'm doing real estate. I'm doing big deals, 40,000 square foot boxes. And it sounded good when I said it. And in a conversation or someone's talking to me, I'm excited. I'm excited to tell you about my life. Then I walk away and I just don't fucking care. So I got out, got into gym franchising, and, you know, it was a cool job. I had status, I had cash, I had, you know, appreciation for people. Everyone thought it was really cool that you could go from being a Navy SEAL to being the COO of a multi-gym franchise, right? We had a gym right outside Nashville. We had a gym in Chattanooga. We were looking at more spaces. I'm looking at 40,000 square foot boxes, and I thought it was really cool, right? And the status was all good. I thought I was doing the right thing, and the second I would walk away from those conversations where someone is appreciating having a hitter in their neighborhood, right? So in franchise business, you're talking to different gym owners and different franchise owners and people who work for the actual Crunch corporate, and they all love that you're there. But when you would kind of dial back and walk away from the conversation, you realize I'm not really living with the community and purpose that I once had. And to lose that and think that you could fill that void with status and money and things that never mattered to a team guy, it's a really common mistake. And I think I see a lot of guys fall into that pitfall. And so I felt that. I had this crazy serendipitous meeting with a buddy where he's farming in Colorado. I'm running a gym business now in Tennessee. I was from Ohio. I lived in Virginia. And now for some reason I'm in Tennessee running this gym. and his wife is from Tennessee. And so we were close in buds, super, super, super close. And he's in Tennessee. I'm in Tennessee. It's New Year's. And he's like, dude, why don't I just drive down and say hello? He comes down. He's talking to me about the farm. I'm talking about the gyms. He's like, I wish I was doing gyms. I was like, I wish I was doing farms. And so he says, open invite whenever you guys want to come out. Southwest Colorado is like 5,000 acres. And so
that's a beautiful area.
Oh my God.
Southwest Colorado is
dude,
gorgeous.
You can see 4 states and you can see 4 beautiful mountains from 4 states. You can see, I'm not going to name these mountains because you can probably triangulate this place, but it's gorgeous.
How are the native reservations out there? Because I know there's a lot of them down in Southwest.
They're big, but
I mean, how are the people? Are they friendly? Are they
super friendly? So the thing with the native population is that you can stay on the res for your whole life and receive a government stipend, kind of like medical disability as a veteran, right? Like if you get banged up enough, you get medical disability, whereas we feel bad for whatever happened to the native, the native people. I don't really give a shit.
Our bad.
Yeah, right.
And I'm saying that as jokingly because I'm literally 10% Ojibwe. Okay. My dad's side of the family is Ojibwe, Lakudere tribe from like Minnesota, Wisconsin, up into Canada.
So I'm 7% Mohawk.
Yeah.
So brothers. Honestly,
my man.
You know what I'm talking about? I know I don't look it, but my cousins, if you saw them, you'd be like, they got all of it. I don't know why it happened that way. My dad's brother, his kids, high cheekbones, black hair, black eyes.
Dude, I'm wondering if there's a correlation to the teams.
Where you're kind of stubborn and like drinking and like fighting. Could be.
Are you stereotyping?
No, dude. If you talk to people on the res, they know what's going on.
Do you have a card? Do you have a travel card?
No, hell no. I'm 7%. I can get one. But my great
you can.
Not with 7%.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It doesn't matter what percent you are.
You just have to have it.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally have
their blood runs through your blood. You qualify.
We have pictures of my great or great.
You don't need
great
those.
Grandma.
It's just like is as long as it runs in a line. The family tree.
We call her the squaw.
A what?
The squaw is what we call her. Yeah, it's just something they call Native Americans. It's the squaw.
The squaw?
Squaw. 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 It's like a native. It's like a Native American woman. I think someone's gonna correct that, but whatever. It's like a native tongue for Native American woman, or maybe it's just like maybe it's a pejorative. Maybe this is a swear word. This could be the Native American N word, and we have to edit this out. I'm saying it a lot.
You said like the
a lot of times, like over and over and over. How do you say it?
Well, anyways, go ahead. Sorry,
but so basically, I'm getting out, and I have this buddy from Buds, and we get together through what, like I'm spiritual, I'm religious, I'm whatever, right? I think a lot of what we think of religion and spirituality is all just trying to answer the same question. Same thing with math, same thing with aeronautics, same thing with science. I think we're trying to answer questions, right? Spirituality is trying to answer a question. Like, why do I feel the way I do? Why am I in the place I'm in? Religion is answering, why do I do the things I do? Why do I want to do some things and why am I not allowed to? Math is trying to answer, where did we come from? Where do we land? Where are we going? Science is trying to answer, where did these things grow from? How did they get the way they are, right? We're answering the same question. And so when I think of religion, when I think of spirituality, when I think of all these things, I think of how I feel and how I'm connected to different things because we're all from somewhere. And math, science, religion, spirituality, it all says we're all from the same place. So we can all kind of get together behind that, I believe, is that we all think we came from somewhere together. So when he was in the same place as I was, and he needed community and I needed community, I was lost in this weird business way, and he's working on a 4th generation farm and working in his way. And we were boys in Buds. You know what I mean? We met on that first night open ocean swim where they say the sharks are going to eat you. Yeah. Like we were, our last names had the same letters in them, and we just got matched up, and we were just like, bro, you like these movies, you like this shit, like hell yeah, we're boys now. And dude, we've been so tight.
Starship Troopers, let's fucking go.
Pretty much, like for real. And so he's like, come out to the farm anytime. I came out to the farm. We rekindled this relationship because, he was West Coast, I was East Coast. We never saw each other.
How long did you stay at the farm?
So we stayed for 6 months, and
You stayed for 6 months at his farm?
Yeah.
That's
because I
badass.
got out of the gym shit, and I said, you know what, Lara, do you want to take, so we had an RV. a 22-foot RV.
Laura's your wife.
Yeah. And we got this vacation RV, 22 feet. It's really small. And
how long have you guys been married, you and Laura?
We've been married a year now. We married a little bit longer than a year.
So this is
paper.
recent that you and Laura went out to the farm?
Semi-recent. She's been my ride or die. Like, we knew we were square from pretty much day one. Like, we went on one date and we were like, yeah, you good with this? Like, we're square away.
Laura.
Yeah.
But so this is recent, this trip to the farm.
So this was 2023.
2023, you got out in 2022?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I did the gym
right after
franchising
you
for a year.
left, you took a break from society and were like, I'm going out to my best friend's fucking farm for 6 months.
6 months.
That's fucking awesome. I've never heard this kind of story.
Well, we went to go check it out, right? He's like, open invitation, come check it out. So the crazy thing is I call and I say, hey, John, I know I just saw you and you said it was open invitation, but I'm getting away from this corporate stuff. And I could have said I'm getting away from this corporate stuff because I'm falling apart on the inside, but I just said, I'm getting away from the corporate stuff. Are you cool to hang out? And he said, actually, let me call you back because some shit's going on. So he's a 4th-generation farmer. His dad, unfortunately and untimely, passes. And so there's
his dad what?
His dad died.
Okay.
In a very untimely fashion. So you have kind of a lot of pressure on the farm, right? It's just like everything has to pass through lineage. You have other kids and they all have.
How did his dad pass? Can you talk about it?
So from what I understand, he was taking a medication for something. And you know how those pill bottles always say you could probably die if you take this?
Taking the
shit that's supposed to make something better. Yes.
Taking the prescribed dosage.
Some sort of blood thinner thinned too much and or made a clot or whatever. Listen, these pills, I'm not going to get into a big pharmaceutical rant. But
give us a 2-minute.
The fact that in the pharmaceutical industry, so only in America or in very few countries, but only in the developed world in America, turn on a TV. So none of us do this, but turn on a TV and watch an advertisement, like regular TV, not Netflix, not whatever. All of your ads will be for pharmaceutical drugs. And that you can't do that anywhere else. And the fact that we all know what pharmaceuticals are curing what thing or just helping what thing, but millions of people have died from these drugs is unbelievable, right? Like we were very afraid of COVID. We're very afraid of these things. We're very afraid of drunk driving. We're very afraid of whatever you want to do, child kidnapping. Like there are evil things that we're terrified of. Nothing has killed more people than medical malpractice and pharmaceuticals. Yeah. So unfortunately, my buddy's dad was a statistic here. Okay. And he goes to, I think he was a 2-parter where he was taking a drug and then he went to the hospital. Double whammy. The drug did what it wasn't supposed to do. And the doctors also did what they weren't supposed to do. So medical malpractice, like kind of on double ends, or pharmaceutical malpractice, medical malpractice, whatever you want to fucking call it. Christ. So it was awful, right? Because very strong. Do you know
what the doctors did that was medical malpractice?
I think they chose not to treat because they were worried that intervention would kill him. And then he died because they didn't intervene. So at the end of the day, like their job is hard where it's toss up, just like a police officer. Like you can judge them for every bad guy in the world or
Did
every
they think
George
he
Floyd.
was possibly on something else or?
No, I really think that he was taking one thing. They read the bottle and it said, this shouldn't happen. And they're like, so it's probably not happening. It's probably something else. And with this other symptom, we really shouldn't do anything. And they didn't do anything and they should have. And it's super unfortunate because, you know, my buddy got separated, medically separated. And then you have, you know, his dad passes in an untimely fashion on a farm. That's like a very difficult thing to deal with before you kind of set up, where does this land, who's the land going to, who's the machinery going to? Yeah. I mean, it's
an operation.
It's a total operation. I mean, it's a massive business, right? So just like everyone's obsessed and jerks off that show Succession, a bunch of people in suits with billions of dollars, like who's going to get the billions of dollars? It's the farm version where the shit matters for your life
on a farm
and for our lives.
On a farm, there's not like, you don't have cubicles that can to keep the business going.
No. There's
It's
nothing.
the farmer.
It's you getting it done.
It's making the same amount of money with the same amount of fucking, work that has to get done. But it's one person at the top that has to make all the decisions.
Right.
Like I respect farmers so much.
The
dude.
backbone of, and since the beginning of American society, they have been the backbone of American society. So all the respect to him. He does a crazy hard job. He's such a stellar dude. Like he just crushes. He
Does
gets
he have
out there.
siblings or is he
Plenty.
okay?
And he's got like a bunch of siblings. So it's hard, right? Because everyone has a claim to something. He's just the only one who's like really farming. So it's like, well, this is probably what dad would have wanted, I would guess, right? Like that it continues being farmed, and they're all like, well, we're all dealing with shit too. So I'll completely valid across the board. And they all worked it out in a very adult way, and they're, it is how it should be. It's still being farmed, so that's what's good. But I went out there to be like, yo, we're boys. Like, let's get her done. Let's do this shit. And the hard part is he's going through his deal. Like he's trying to figure out his transition and do his deal and make his family happy and grow his family. And
so he's going. I hate to keep cutting.
No.
I'm just trying to like.
Yeah, it's like a
like
world.
I'm just curious.
It's so hard
of this
to understand.
Whole, like
there's so many layers to farming.
So he's getting out of the teams. So a Navy SEAL is getting out. He's separated after how many years? Same as you.
Same as me, like 8 or 9 years.
Okay, so he did what? 2 platoons. He's getting out of the teams and he's moving into farming because his father just passed away, surprisingly,
basically,
like unannounced.
Yeah.
Like how old? You? I'm sure you don't know.
70s.
70. Okay,
Yeah.
so his dad passes away at 70, leaves a farm of how many acres?
5. So it's 2,500, but like they have 2,500. But then you, as a farmer, like you lease a lot of land.
Right. Yeah.
So it's basically like a 5,000 acre farm. Like they're running crop.
So
on
it's the
5,000
surrounding
acres.
farms. He might happen to do work for all of them.
Exactly right.
In total, 5,000 acres. Imagine 5,000 fucking acres. This guy's responsible for.
Dude, it's
he
an
passes
undertaking.
away. He leaves it. He has tons of kids. All right, and one of his sons is a Navy SEAL. This Navy SEAL did he separate because of that, or
it's kind of like that, this whole spiritual connected religious driver where it's like something ended your career. You came home and guess what? It was the right time.
Okay. All right. So he gets out, he comes back, and now you are his best boy from going through fucking hell week.
And another crazy coincidence. For some reason, I'm working in Tennessee and your wife lives there, and we are just like.
Is he married or is he single?
He's married. So
Okay.
he's married. He's got a couple kids, and I've got a kid on the way, and we're halfway between each other, couple hours away. And he's like, dude, I'll come down. I haven't seen you forever. I'll spend 3 days.
Yeah. He's
And
like, you're that boat ducker that I carried all through.
Dude, you're that
buds and-
soft turd that I just can't get enough of. And so basically we were just like, dude, this is wild, and I followed my heart, and I think that's the right way to live my life. And it hasn't led me astray yet. And if it does, I don't give a shit, because it's worked so many times now that if it doesn't work once, I'll keep doing it. And we went out and I did what I thought was right, and we're working on the farm together, and I was excited about it. And, I'm trying to grow something, but I'm also going through my own shit. Okay. Because we get out of the teams and we don't know finance. We just think that there's money and then there's not money. And most of the time as a team guy, there's money, right? Because you're either on the road and getting per diem, you're on deployment and getting deployment money, which is usually pretty good because you're spending nothing, or you're getting a bonus because you're signing up to get back in. So we always have money. It may not be a lot because, frogman shit, you may have married
at the
7
time
chicks.
you think it's money.
You have, you
at
have
the
frogman
time-
money.
At the time, you think it's money because you're making just a little bit more than regular
Than you can
military folks make. So,
You're making more than you can drink, which at the time seems insane.
yeah. Here's the thing about the military is like they will entice you, and they've nailed this formula down into like, oh, okay, well, if you do this, you get a special pay. They call it special pay for a reason, because you feel special.
Because you're cute.
Right. So you have all these people that are risking their lives on a daily basis. They're away from their family. They pull them away. And like, we got lucky. We would do 6 to 9 month deployments. I had a lot of friends that were regular fleet guys, and they would do 9 to 12 to 15 month deployments away from their families.
Yep.
and they entice them with special pay, and they feel like, oh, yeah, I'm special.
I'm awesome.
But it's like,
I
listen,
am jacked and tan and hot. Fuck yeah.
the
dude.
military is what it is, but like, I'll tell you, man, they don't pay these guys enough. Like, and I'll tell you that just from being in those boots before is like, you're not given enough, and you're too young to realize that you're not being paid enough.
Oh yeah.
You're risking your life. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. After everything you've been through, after everything I've been through, after the people that you love, your best friends in this world, if you could like look at that, I had a long conversation with one of my old chiefs, and I'm sitting there on the conversation, and I'm going, the fact that this guy was paid that, to literally go to Afghanistan and risk his fucking life. Mm-hmm. Think about that. He had 2 kids at the time, babies, a wife, beautiful wife. Like, imagine at this point in your life.
Because it wouldn't be as important if she were ugly. Just letting everyone know.
But imagine. But imagine. I mean, like to me, like there's nothing more like special in this entire existence that we live in than life itself. Yeah. It's special. It's like, imagine that like your life is worth this much.
Yep. Yeah. They put a dollar amount on it. That's for sure. Cause it's called hazardous duty pay. Yeah. And it's an amount. Like it's I think it's like $300.
We went through it. A lot of our friends have gone through this, our mentors, the people that we love. And it's just like looking back, I understand at the time we didn't know any better. But looking back, it's like, I know people are still going through this. And it's like, fuck, man, these people deserve more. Give them more. Just a little bit.
It's tough.
Okay. Like,
it's tough.
Come on.
Because I think the hard thing is to draw the line. Like, we want you to we can't want you to want to be here. We need you to need to be here. You know what I mean? When I was talking earlier about like the guy I was like, I wanted something from the teams, and that's not the way to do it.
But I was never didn't go into the military thinking you wanted to be a Navy SEAL.
No, I just went into the military. Interesting.
You're the first person I've ever talked to about this that didn't go into the military knowing he wanted to be a Navy SEAL.
No, I didn't really know what it was. I had seen Act of Valor. And after that movie we saw on Tuesday for a $5 movie night and got Chipotle, we were like ripping around in my buddy's truck, you know, pretending we were in Swick boats in the empty parking lot of our movie theater. But no, I didn't really have a clue. And it helps and hurts in certain ways. You know, same thing with you said with the boots. It's like, oh man, I really wish I had taken that plastic thing out of the boot that everybody else did because my ankle's all chewed up, or my heel's all chewed up. But at the same time, it's just like, yeah, I didn't know. And so I know that I wanted to serve, and I wanted to serve for a purpose. Like, that's what I wanted. I wanted to serve for a purpose. Yeah. And the guys who do really, really well in the military want to serve. That's it. Like, no purpose intended. Like, if I were doing an administrative job, I'd be fine because I want to be here. I want to be part of it. I want to be part of the culture. I want to serve this purpose, whatever you need me to do. Those guys do great, and they're great dudes. For me, it's different. You know, I'm not that guy. I wanted to do something, and it wasn't the best time to do it. So it was kind of time for me to move on and hope that maybe there's another opportunity or whatever. It really doesn't matter. Right. But when you see the guys who do it and you see what they put in, you do wish they get paid more. Yeah. But and that's the thing with being a Marine too. Like, you look at the Marines and they're like the perfect case, right? It's like, we want you to be the front lines, but we're not going to pay you. In fact, we're going to pay you less because we want you to want it that bad. Yeah. We want you to want the honor.
That's part of their
without question. The funniest thing I'd ever heard, we met this Marine dude. So we were doing work in Bridgeport, and we were doing a mountain ops shit. And we were working with this Marine recon sniper. And he was fucking hysterical. He just had that like blasé attitude that everything he said was hilarious and it always hit. And I was like, so we were talking about bonuses. We're at this bar, you know, on a weekend, which, you know, only the soft guys get to take weekends. So also remember that is like a civilian, you have to understand that like when we tell stories as soft guys, we're running around the world, drinking in places. We're getting paid extra. We don't spend any money. So we do feel like we're part of the elite, the social elite, at least for me. You know, I'm 19. I was bawling. It was sick. And, you know, we're talking to this dude. We're drinking at a bar. We're getting food. I think it was in Northern California somewhere, Northwestern California. So it's like rural. And this dude is just like listening to us talk about bonuses. And he's just like, bonuses. And I was just like, do y'all get, you know, what's your bonus structure? Because I was pissed. I had just the way they parse out bonuses is arbitrary, right? Like right now, people are getting $90,000, and if you try to reenlist tomorrow, you might get $7. They don't fucking care if it was close. They don't meet you halfway. It's like, so I reenlisted and I got $40,000, which is sick. You know, like you can pay off some bills, you can pay down your house payment. I got $40,000. I paid for some stuff, paid off my vehicle.
What year was that?
2017, I believe. I reenlisted. And a buddy of mine,
the year I got out,
who went through a push class.
Good thing I got out.
No, he went through a class after me, and I'll call it a push class. He even does too. But he got paid, I think, 90. Same rate, same everything.
Okay, so real quick for the viewers or listeners. So the bonus scale for Navy SEALs is based on the number of Navy SEALs versus the active Navy SEALs versus the people coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you want to talk about how hard it is to become a Navy SEAL. So you have instructors that understand that the less of you that make it through training,
the more they get paid,
the higher the bonuses are for the entire community. Okay, so if this makes sense,
it's true.
This is how it works. Okay, it's a scale. Imagine a balancing scale where, okay, we have a class of 250 wannabe Navy SEAls.
Nobody explains this way, but this is for real.
Yeah.
Like if the boys are tracking,
yeah,
this will happen.
Yeah, this is it. And you want to know why they try so hard to make you fucking quit? It's because
they get more money.
Their bonuses go up, not just for them, but for their best friends.
Dude, there's no incentive to have more Navy SEAls. There's all incentive to have better, like high quality, really dense, good quality team guys.
Exactly.
Then we all get more money.
Exactly.
So if you're from Warcom right now and you're like listening to this, you should fucking buck up.
I'm sorry.
And realize that you should pay us more no matter how many there are.
At least pay the Navy SEAls a little bit more. Come on. I get it. They're still in the military, but these guys are special.
Trying.
Special forces.
So basically, to get beyond
continue.
So we're on the farm. We're working really hard. Farm work is crazy. And like I was saying, basically where we jumped off is I have no financial literacy is how you would explain it. And so I went from having this high paying job, my wife's working remote, to going on the farm. And in the farming culture, you don't make money. You next year you might make some, but you know, you could put in a crazy amount of sweat equity, which we did, and get, you know, God bless if we would have done the average. Instead, you just drink a beer and you laugh and you cry a little. But
what are the hours you're working there?
16 hours a day.
What time are you getting up in the morning? So
we would get up at 4:30, meet in the gym at 5, get a sweat on because we're team guys. We're not just like farmers. We're the real deal. So we're coming to get jacked. And then when the sun comes up, it's time to work. And farming it's cyclical. You know, if it rains, then you're just not working because you'll just dig up mud and you'll get stuck. There's so much that goes into it. But really the way it breaks down is a lot of your days, like when you're working, you're grinding for maybe 3, 4, 5 weeks at a time, and you're doing 14 to 16 hour days. Like when it's really important to bring the crop in, when you have to really clean, like everything piles on. So it piles on at certain times. And
what kind of farm was this, by the way?
Wheat, all wheat.
All wheat.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's It's what they call winter wheat. So winter wheat in this area of the world just has the most protein per gram. So it's the best wheat. It's called hard red winter wheat. So if you get this wheat, it's the absolute best. And I can attest to that. Wheat. So it's called hard red because the kernels themselves are dark red.
Okay.
Because they have so much protein in them when they dry. Regular wheat, like coming from the east, or lowlands, or it's wetter, it's going to look like yellower, almost like an unpopped corn.
And are you talking about like corn. Fresh, or are you talking about like dried out?
Dried, cleaned and dried out. Cleaned and dried, it'll be hard and red.
Okay.
And when you pull it off.
And what part of the country is this?
Southwest Colorado. So we're talking like 8,000 feet.
Is that exclusively elevation to that area, or?
They have some of the best wheat. I can't speak for the whole nation just because I'd be presuming that I know shit that I don't. But it's one of the only places that you're going to get wheat at that elevation with that sun exposure, with that soil richness, and with that density of protein. So it's like some of the highest protein wheat you can get anywhere.
How much protein are we talking about here?
It's high protein. God, I couldn't explain it in like if I had meal prep amounts. I couldn't explain it that way.
Okay. All right.
I could try, but I'll tell you this: when your wife makes it into sourdough or like tortillas we do, or pizzas. I'm getting hungry right now thinking about it because Lara makes some good food, dude.
We make people hungry in this fucking podcast.
Dude, you mill that fresh wheat and you make some food out of that. It's like, man, you've been eating whatever bread your whole life. Like I grew up eating store bread, like we got store bread and we thought like wheat bread was good. And it's like store wheat bread ain't good. Like sourdough is really the only bread that's good. It's got, bacteria in it that serves your gut. You don't feel sick when you eat a ton of it. And so she got into making that stuff. And for anybody out there, if your chick's thinking about getting into sourdough, you fucking drop what you're doing and you figure out how to get her further in. You just do it. You just do that. It's bonkers because she's going to make the tortillas. She's going to make the burritos. She's going to make the pizzas. She's going to make the pasta. We make homemade pasta, but it's not from that. It's from our chicken's eggs. And then we make sourdough, and it's like, it's just the bonkers. It's so good. It tastes good. It's so much better for you. You feel clean when you eat it, like if you drive a shitty old Camry, or if you drive a brand new VW, you're like, this thing is good to go. It's like that. It just feels better. But that's what the wheat is. It's the best version of that you can get, right? Like you can go the natural route or you can go the perfect route. And that's just like premium of the premium.
So you did this for 6 months.
6 months. And then we get to the point where we're, working almost at the end of the season. The end of the season is really hard, right? Because you're always catching up. Rain days are going to pile up until the end of the season, and the work doesn't stop.
Is it really that kind of an environment where you're constantly just fucking playing the seasons?
Dude, it's like being in the teams. You're either drinking and everyone thinks you're an asshole because you and your boys are just drinking at noon, working on stuff, dinking on vehicles and fixing stuff up. You're either hammered, dinking on stuff when you got time because it rained, or you're working 5 to I think it was like we'd work 5 to 9. So someone come down, you throw the lights on and you work for an extra hour or two.
Fuck.
And so you finish long days like that. And for me, I was taking college courses because I knew at the end of this probably isn't the life for my wife and I. She just doesn't want it. She also doesn't want to live in a trailer and watch me farm for no money. Shocking. She went from being in a cool house in Virginia Beach with a dude who was a SEAL, like the coolest shit ever, status. We live close to the beach too, to a dude who's like feeling like he's doing the right thing and making $0, taking 3 college credits to get my undergrad because I had a mission. I had to be better. I have to do something. I have to have options. And so, being the COO of a gym franchise is great if you do it for 6 years and you build 40 gyms. Like everyone's like, wow, this guy could run whatever he wants. I did it for 1.5 years and I built 2 gyms. No one cares. Like really no one cares. Like you put the SEAL thing, that, and then you got to have something else. So I started working on my degree and I didn't have a focus. I just did it the hard way because team guys always get that undergrad where you can get it in like 2 seconds. I didn't do that for whatever reason because I'm a prick. And I worked really hard for it. I had to do a lot of work. So I'd finish those 16-hour days. I'd go straight to the barn on Sundays, and I would finish my work on Wednesdays and Sundays. I would finish, a 14, 16-hour day. Maybe I'd quit a little bit early and I'd go finish my homework for 2 or 3 hours, just kind of keeping my eyes open. And this is where I learned throughout this whole process. I started going through like a lot of financial stress. I was feeling pretty low, like pretty shitty about my life. Your chick is upset that you're there. You can't explain why you're supposed to be there. You're just like, I'm just doing the right thing. When you're in the team space and you say, I'm doing the right thing, everybody's like, yeah, like you just said, sure. Like, yeah, of course you're doing the right thing. But explaining that to your wife does not work. You're like, I'm doing the right thing. I'm pretty sure like this is the right thing to do. And they don't believe you. And then you're making no money and you don't know, you have financial literacy that's in the negatives. And so you're losing money. You're kind of going into a lot of debt. And I'm, picking up personal loans from American Express to service credit card debt, at 19% interest. And I'm kind of just eating it and not telling anybody because we all got to just kind of eat it. Right. And you get low. And the second most noted, written, attested to reason for veteran suicide is financial stress. It's brutal because you think that it's going to be combat. And so to go into a very short tangent, in all of American war history, and let's just cut it down to World War II to now, you have a total of, I believe, 4 million combat veterans. And you and I both know that combat veterans encompasses a lot of shit. You get mortared one time, your ass is getting a combat ribbon. So then you think, how many direct action combat veterans do you have? You're probably looking at closer in history, 2 million. You probably cut that number in half. People who are in direct live action combat, fighting, winning a fight, right? Like you have a very low number of veterans because we have 29 million since World War II. So you're talking 2 to 29 million. Now, if you talk about the number of veteran suicides, you're looking at 1.5 million. So in the World War II era, you had about it's unnoted, right? You have 50 to maybe 100,000 because they lived for a long time. A few of them are still alive today. Hard to track because they didn't try to track it. Vietnam, you have a very similar number. And then ours is growing like crazy. So you add in all the conflicts in our history, you have an insane amount of suicides. Now, the crazy thing is we cling on to this number 22 a day. And we have all these stats and statistics that are so great about what we know, but we don't know shit because you have 1 million homeless veterans, 1 million. And in that number, do you think someone is walking around making sure that all of the homeless veterans who OD'd and or cut their wrists or whatever are just like, that's a suicide, not just a regular death. Don't just send them to the burn pit. We need to annotate that because they were a veteran. No fucking chance. Yeah. So you have a ton of unreported, brutal statistics for veterans. And it generally circulates around people like veterans who are homeless, veterans who are drug addicted, veterans who are experiencing severe mental disorder. They're not going reported. Veterans who are really old, they're not going reported. And then anyone who has a family who doesn't feel like talking to the fucking VA about what happened. Does that sound like a lot of people?
Yeah.
Incredibly. And you're talking about veterans. I'm not telling anyone anything, right? When I suffer hard, but I suffer alone. And that's unfortunately the status quo. And so when you talk about financial stressors, you're also talking about the number one reason for divorce. Financial stress or disagreement is the number one reason for divorce. It's also the number 2 reason for veteran suicide. And the number 3 reason for veteran suicide is interfamilial and relationship issues, right? So you're talking about the number 1 reason for divorce being basically the number 3 reason for veteran suicide, and the number 2 being finance. And we have all these tools like benefits, like the GI Bill, like vocational rehab, all these crazy benefits for veterans that they're all built on the idea that veterans are going to get out of these crazy lifestyles and need a little bit of help. And people get caught up in the combat thing, and they get caught up in the whatever warfighter or what period you served in. And the only thing that builds is more doubt into veterans' minds that really need help, because blast issues, PTSD, TBI are not exclusive to combat. They just happen there for sure. If you're a combat veteran, you absolutely, without question, are going to need the help that people need to give you, and we signed up for. But the other veterans do too. You got 27 million of them, right? So you're looking at this massive number of people who desperately, desperately need help, and they're not getting it. And in my circumstance, I had the Navy SEAL Foundation, the SEAL Future Foundation, the UDT SEAL Foundation, the CARE Coalition. I had so many soft-centric networks that were built for me. No fucking clue, right? Like, it goes kind of back to like what you lose, right? Because every dude who gets out, and this is for all the guys who get out in any capacity, you are going to lose something. And mostly it's going to be community. Mostly it's going to be status. Mostly it's going to be purpose.
You're going to lose a lot more than you realize.
And you're going to lose that shit, and you're not going to understand it. You're going to have new TBIs and a new mentality that is different, right? You've been in for X amount of time. You're a different guy. And so kind of circling back to where I was on the farm, struggling financially, destitute, really, right? We're like, my wife's making the money. We're eating groceries up. We're struggling pretty hard, right? We're living in a fucking trailer on a farm. And it gets to this point where I'm like kind of losing it. And I haven't, so I'm a pretty aggressive, mean guy, but a lot of team guys are. I haven't lost it on someone, especially a woman, in a long, long time, until I was 18, chemically confused, just hormonal, yelling at people because I had to get out of town or whatever. And I lose it on my wife once or twice while we're on the farm, right?
What do you mean? What do you mean lose it?
Screaming until there's blood in my eyes, right? Like, just so
over
angry.
What? Over what?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you the argument, because it's one, it's chemical, it's TBI, PTSD. And two, it's financial. Threat to my life and my sanctity. 3, it's status. It's a threat to who I am, what I represent, what I could become. And 4, it's certainty. Am I going to be able to support this family? And am I doing the right thing? Because I think I'm doing the right thing. I've always thought I was doing the right thing. So I'm threatened on all these core values.
But going back to that moment, like, at this point, you've had a lot of time to go back and like categorize that moment.
Yeah.
Which is how, when I asked you, what was it? You categorized it into like very defined groups.
Right.
I'm talking about the moment. What sets you off?
In the moment, the person that I need the most all the time is my wife. Really, she truly is like such a dude. She's a fucking beast, and she's really funny. She's a great person to be around. And so when she questions something that I know to be true, right? Like, I am sorry, but I need to be here, and I don't know why. I need to be on this farm. I need to be doing this work.
So she was questioning why you were on the farm.
How long are we going to be here? We're definitely not moving here. She was in for 4-ish months. And when it started getting really, really hard.
So 4 months.
Yeah. 4 months. She's starting to say like, hey, I know you like this, but this isn't our life. And so the difficulty there is that when I commit, like a lot of team guys, I'm like, I have to psychologically get there, right? And how do you get there? How do you get through long days? How do you get to this college? I tell myself I'm going to be a doctor, and I tell myself I'm going to farm for the rest of my life.
You're going to be a doctor. What is that?
So when I commit in my brain, I tell myself I'm going the furthest that anyone has been. So if I'm going to run, I'm running 5,000 miles. If I'm going to learn, I'm going to be a doctor. If I'm going to farm, I'm going to be a lifetime farmer. If I'm going to exercise, I'm going to be a CrossFit athlete. That's how I get to where I need to be, because I need to know that there's a status bar, and I'm not a maintainer. So if I were to say like I'm going to start a new hobby, I'm not going to start it and be okay. I'm going to start it because I want to be the best. I may end up being okay, but okay in a lot of ways is really, really good, because a lot of people don't do shit. So if you're okay at the cello, it's actually pretty sweet, because you can play a lot of cool music. So that's kind of how I build out like my internal mentalities. I want to be the best at everything. I'll settle for the middle, but I need to shoot hard. It's like maybe kicking a ball as far as you can. Like, I want it to go as far as I can. I know it's not going to go farther than anyone who's ever lived, but it'll get further if I want it to go that far. Does that kind of make sense? Like, that's how my brain works. So I have to commit.
I love this, by the way.
I have to commit to shit. I have to commit
This is like
hard.
such a team guy mentality.
Yeah, it's probably fucking silly for a lot of people, but there's
This is
that
actually
little kid
probably
out there.
the best description of a team guy mentality I've ever heard in my entire fucking life.
Well,
But go
dude,
ahead, keep going.
You know, like, you're a little kid forever. You know, whoever you are, if you think that little kid is dead, you just made him really small on the inside of you. He's still got a personality, and I let mine drive. My little kid on the inside of me just wants to be the fucking best. I want to run the fastest. I don't want anyone to be better than me. I just want to do everything. And so when I approached farming, I was like, I'll be the best at this. I'll figure out the best way we can do this. I'll go to college for it. I'll do all these things. And my wife hears that kind of stuff, and she's literal. And she's from the city, so like, she's not familiar with the space. She's completely uncomfortable. You know, we're living in a 22-foot trailer. So what that means is your bed is here, your bathroom is here, your kitchen is right there. You're fucking 1 foot from taking a shit while flipping an egg. Like, you're there. You're in everything all the time. So it's hard for a girl who's, you know, her dad's a lawyer. She grew up in a you know, not a wealthy family, but they're definitely doing well.
By the way,
I could do some ice.
yeah, it's Frogman Friday. Finish that.
Oh yeah. Is that a fuck you, hoo-ya?
All right, so real quick, this bottle is called Totem. This is my last guest. His name's Devin Topol. He's a good friend of mine. He's the head distiller at the that whiskey we just drank. So basically, Davin invented this liquor. So he's like, imagine the Breaking Bad of like liquor. Okay, this
so
is
he's
him.
the polio
the Breaking
kid?
Bad of meth. He is that for liquor.
Oh, he's not the polio kid. Okay.
yeah,
He's the chemist.
So so Totem is his creation, and this is not like vodka. It's not gin. It's not whiskey. It's not rum.
Okay.
It's not anything. This is like something unto
itself. Yeah.
of itself. Okay, so
Shut up, dude.
feed me. No. You have to hear the whole story, and I'm gonna destroy it. But basically, what Davin, this whole thing that he created it's not very simple. It's actually very complicated. That I'm gonna destroy it. But Davin, what he did was so he spent a lot of time on native reservations. Okay, and one of the things that he learned was that there's like when you drink something, it's not just like pour me this and you gulp it down.
Yeah.
Right. Like in native culture, there's a lot of spirituality that's entwined into what you're drinking. Okay. It's pulling something out of you that's not meant
That's
for
not
the
you, yeah.
it's not meant no it is you, but it's not meant for the non-spiritual world.
Yeah.
Okay.
My mom calls that the id. It's a Freudian term, but it's your internal demon, and you're drinking to let the barrier down because it needs air.
Ooh, I like that. What's it called? The id?
The id. It's
ID?
Freudian. Yeah. So you have an ego and a super ego, and your super ego is called an id. ID. It's the internal. It definitely doesn't stand for internal demon, but that just fucking came out. But you have your ego is like your wants and desires, like sex and drugs and all that shit. That's like super superficial, right? Like that's right under the surface. Your super ego wants shit that satisfies your soul, but it wants it so bad that it'll do anything to have it. So like my dad died when I was little. So I really
How young
want
were you?
10. He died in front of me in a car accident when I was really, really little.
Fuck, man.
And so your super ego wants things that you can't comprehend you want or don't want to admit. And so for me, that's like attention, appreciation, and, you know, basically like a good job, good boy. And so I'm a suck up to parents and things like that because I want someone to say like, good job, buddy. Right. So you have the super ego that fucking drives you It can drive you far enough to be a Navy SEAL, which is pretty fucking far. So you have this superpower that is all based in, I want something desperately, and it's who I am.
Do you
but
think
I
that's
hate
the
that thing.
Do you think that's the driving force to a Navy SEAL?
I know a lot of team guys who have dead dads. I don't know if that's the driving factor.
I'm not saying that specifically, but something missing.
That's that super ego of, I want something bad. You have to. You want to prove yourself. It's, you know, it's for the layman or a lazy man. It's your chip on your shoulder. Like, what do you have to want so bad that you would die for it? Right. And it's like, yeah, we've heard that in movies before.
Yeah.
But it's true. And you can devolve it down to like a moment.
Yeah.
You desperately want to prove yourself. And
you don't even know why.
No, not even close.
It's like an instinct.
My buddy once told me, he's just like, I didn't know that you had any kind of like familial relationship issues because you never talked about anything.
Is this the guy on the farm?
Yep. And, you know, because his father passed later on. And he told me, you know, I kind of just followed in your footsteps on that one because you were 19 and we were going through bloods and you never talked about anything. And I was like, well, it wasn't a hard pill to swallow for me because I had something to fucking prove. I had a mission. You know, like you have a mission. And it's like, I have got to be somebody.
Taste. I'm going to pour you a glass of this on ice.
Have you tried butt chugging it at all? Or you're just going on mouthfeel?
What is butt chugging?
Have you never? I feel like a lot of people have never. So a butt chug is when I'm going to get into this and I'm going to get into this in the best way I know how. Okay. So
I don't know if I'm going to give you totem after this.
You better. But here's the deal. So I'm going to earn it. Watch this. When I was a new guy, we went on a trip to Bridgeport, California, and we did a mountain warfare trip. It was fucking miserable, especially being a new guy. And I'll tell you this, like getting beat in the cold water of the East Coast is different than the West Coast because winter season is unbelievable. It's that cold. We had to break ice to get wet. Now, going on this trip, a flowing stream in a winter mountain in California, upper like just 9,000 feet California, it doesn't freeze because it's moving. So it's below freezing. I have gotten beat in those streams. I've laid in those streams. I've rolled around in them and gotten beat for hours at night. We were miserable is the point as new guys. So we're getting beat all the time there. And on the weekend, I think we had like 1 or 2 weekends and we were there for like 5 weeks doing mountain warfare, which was cool. If I were an older man, I would have thought it was awesome. But I was a younger guy getting beat and I was pissed at everybody, pissed at the world, pissed at everything. So I was a little bit of a shithead, but we go to Reno and we have a weekend, right? So we get, as team guys will do, the presidential suite. And we negotiated our way to that in the hotel in town. I can't remember which hotel it was, but it was something downtown. So it wasn't the GSR. It wasn't one of the nicer ones, but it was nice. It was like a Marriott affiliate downtown. Get the presidential suite, we get up there. And one of my buddies, so we're playing this game called Odds, right? Are you familiar with Odds?
No.
Okay. So it's like a younger generation thing. It's my generation of team guy for sure.
What does that mean?
You're old. And so it basically means like, I'm going to say a number like between 1 and whatever, 1 and 100 really. And you're going to say a number. But if I odds you, so I'm going to say, Shawn, I odds you to butt chug that glass. And you're going to say a number because you don't want it to happen. And you don't want it to happen a lot. You're going to say 1 to 100.
What does that mean? Like,
so you're giving me the parameter of the bet.
Okay.
I gave you the bet and you have to, as a man, tell me what you want out of it. So 1 to 100 just means in 3 seconds, 3, 2, 1, we're going to say a number. So let's try it out in 3 seconds. So 3, 2, 1, go. At go, you say a number. Okay. So odds 1 to 100, you butt chug that. 3, 2, 1, 77.
69.
It's pretty good. Okay. So you don't have to butt chug it. I don't have to butt chug it. We're all square. Now, if I were to odds you and you were to say 2, right? Because that means there are 1 and 2 odds that you're butt chugging that. And it's an honor system. So it means that you're going to butt chug that.
What does that mean to butt chug? Nobody knows what that means.
Drinking it in your asshole. So we'll get to that. That's that. We will get to that. So if you say 2 to me, if I were to say, Shawn, I challenge you to butt chug that drink, and you were to go 2, that means either I'm doing it or you're doing it. If you were to say 3, it just means you don't want to hit the same number. But 2 means one of us is doing it. Okay. So it's the challenge to me. So if I say 1 and you say 2, then I'm doing it. But if I say 1 and you say 1, like I would want to, right? Because if I challenge you to 1 in 100 and we both said 100, I win. So anytime we say the same number, I win as the challenger. All you need to know is that the person who says, I odds you to do that, if you say the same number as me, you're doing it. Now, if you say 2 and we say different numbers, like you say 2 and I say 1, I'm doing it. Okay.
Okay.
So we show up to this hotel. And one of our buddies is tired of one of the younger dudes. So we had a platoon full of younger guys. Like the oldest dude was 23. It was fucking insane. So we have 19 to 23-year-old dudes. It's bizarre, right? A lot of them. And we're playing odds all the time, like running up fucking mountains on the side of the road. Like, pull over, we got to run it now. We got fucking it on a 77 in fucking rural Ohio happened. And so we're in this hotel. We show up. We got bottles of wine. Okay. And our one buddy, who's a fucking savage, is just oddsing everyone because he doesn't give a fuck if you odds him back, right? And he's doing stupid shit. And he just goes, Jay, odds you butt chug that bottle of wine. Bottle. And he just goes, 2. And we all just go, someone is going to butt chug a bottle of wine today.
Oh,
that's how it goes. If someone says 2, someone's fucking doing it. That's what it means to the viewer. So this was kind of Jay's move to make our other buddy butt chug, right? Like, we had been tired of his shit all day. He's oddsing everyone on everything. He's getting fucking annoying. And so he does it. He goes 2. And we're like, yeah, dude, get him. So Jay loses. And he's got to butt chug a bottle of fucking wine. So how do you prepare for that? None of us know what's going to happen. Nobody's taking anything in the ass. We're all young teen guys. We have no idea how this goes. So our buddy Jay goes to the bathroom, lubes his asshole with that, whatever he would so choose, happen to be conditioner. And he comes back into the room and we have the bottle of wine. And out of respect for his dignity, we all took pulls of it until it was about a quarter full. So instead of laying down how I would think, so he gets butt naked in front of all of us, straight up. And he lays down, not how I would do it. I would think like maybe doggy. You're laying down on all fours, kind of. He goes the other way. Okay, baby feet. You know what I'm talking about? Like where you're on your back and you're rolling your ass up. Does that make sense?
Like missionary.
Missionary, if a chick's like putting her legs behind her head.
Okay.
Like that.
Right. Okay.
And so we're sitting front and center and he's butt fucking naked. And now he's going for this bottle and he just grabs it. He's got an ass full of fucking conditioner and he shoves it in his ass.
Shut the fuck up.
And he pounds it. It's
the whole bottle?
It's gone in
or
seconds.
Quarter bottle.
Quarter bottle. Okay. It's gone in seconds.
Did he
so
shake
it's
it up,
a cup
or
and a half.
was it like...
Nope. It's a cup and a half of wine. Cup and a half at least. Like big glass and a half of wine. He is now butt full of wine. You would think it would squirt out, right?
Yeah.
Like immediately.
Yeah.
Doesn't. You eat that shit. It goes in. It's gone.
Whoa.
So he goes into the bathroom, like runs in there. We're all fucking screaming in this room. Just like literally like screaming. There's no laughing. No one's laughing. We're all screaming because we don't know what to do. We're all just, we're screaming as loud as we can. We have no fucking clue what's going on. We're laughing so hard. He comes back out and he's like, so we're looking at him like, did you shit all that wine out? Like, did it rocket out of your body? And he's like, no, it's in there. And so we figured out that when you butt chug wine or whatever, it stays. Like, it doesn't go away. It's like you ate it. It's like you drank it. And so this leads to my point from earlier. I've tried and it does work.
What?
You can butt chug wine.
You did it?
Yeah. Verified.
So you had to find out.
Bonafide.
You're like, this is not enough evidence.
Yeah.
I have to figure it out
Have
myself.
you seen a wine decanter? It's like a flat base with a thin neck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and one of my boys had to try. My wife was there. We were all in our kitchen. We were drinking wine. We got ham dogged. And I was like, you think you could butt chug that? And he was like, no, dude, that's not real. And I was like, oh no, it is real. And real men can do it. And he fucking sent it and it worked. And so I told him if he did it, I would do it. So then it's like, and it's not like it's going right into your bloodstream. You're going to get hammered. It was we did it. And we were like, dude, I don't feel shit. Gone. Like maybe didn't even get past the word.
Did you get drunk off of it?
Blacked immediately.
What?
Blacked immediately.
No
immediately.
Shit.
In fucking instantly.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was the funniest shit of all time.
That's still the gayest shit I've ever fucking heard.
Oh, dude, it's gay as AIDS, but it's funny as shit. But we were talking about alcohol. This is the longest tangent of all time for Totem.
No, it's all good. Drink that. This is Davin's Totem. So basically, this thing is the whole idea of this still is to connect regular people with the spirits, right? So it's not just about drinking. It's not like there's a story behind the liquor, which I find very fascinating because we're so quick to get drunk. Oh, give me a beer, give me a whatever. And this is a very fascinating thing, and I honestly think that we found Davin at a point where he's like the godfather of something really special.
That's awesome.
And I have a feeling that in the future it's going to become something much bigger than the way he was explaining it. Even I'll toast you to Liam stuff. I'm doing a bad job of fucking keeping my shit together right now.
Keeping your shit together for other guys.
Anyways, sorry.
No, that's super cool. I mean, I'm super into it.
What do you think of it, by the way?
Interesting taste. It's it has like a whiskey sweet, right? So like you're talking about like a sweet whiskey. There's some degree of texture that stays on your tongue with a tequila taste and little bite. So like very, very little bite, like where it's almost like a
Have you ever tasted anything like it in your life?
No. It's hard to describe because you got to combine a lot of sensations. Do you know what Malort is?
No.
Okay, so it's this awful tasting alcohol from Chicago. And Chicago people want you to try it because it's almost like a joke. It has the smell of Malort, okay? But it doesn't have the taste, which the smell of Malort is kind of like a texture of mezcal with a sweeter, whiskier smell. And that's like the aromatic in your nose. But it doesn't have crazy bite. You know, like what's the percentage on that? Do you know?
Good question. 55 alcohol volume.
So it doesn't have crazy bite. Like you could drink that easy. Individual taste and flavor. I mean, he's doing his own thing.
It's pretty cool though, right?
It's super cool. I like the intent.
When's the last time you heard of somebody trying to create
doing something new?
Own still.
Doing something new is cool. It's a time for it.
I was telling you during the podcast, I'm like, dude, you realize you've done something I've never even heard of.
Yeah, you're doing your own shit.
You grew up your whole life. From the moment you were born, there was gin, vodka, whiskey, rum, scotch, right?
Yeah.
What else? Tequila.
Yeah, you could call bourbon another, but
okay. Yeah, there's different versions of whiskey, basically.
Sure. Yeah.
But there's never been a new version. This is a new version.
It's very cool. Like when you go overseas, they always have their shit.
Spiritual shit entwined in it.
I like that. Like, well, it makes the name make sense now. Real spirits, where it is like he's talking about real spirits. That's very cool. I like that.
Yeah. Anyways, tell me about what's going on in this 220-mile race.
Okay, so and we'll wrap like that where, we have a good time together, obviously. So I basically was in this financial trouble, right?
Yeah.
I was feeling down, more down than I've ever felt. And I've had some highs and lows with my life. It's just been that way. And I found out that if I had taken one more class and if I had taken a hybrid schedule in the town that I was in, so it didn't really matter, I would have been making $2,500 a month, which would have paid for groceries, which is a big difference for a lot of people. And it was for me at the time. You know, I don't want to be a sob story. What do you mean if you would
have taken one more class? What does that
mean?
I
was taking 3 classes to get my undergrad, my bachelor's. If I had taken another credit or another course, so 4 courses, 4 classes during that semester, I would have earned $2,500 a month as opposed to fucking nothing. And so the fact that an administrator, a VA counselor, no one sent me a message and said, that's wrong. Like there's nothing in the system to say that you should maximize that benefit so you don't fucking kill yourself. That blew my mind when I found that out. I was like having a really hard time for me. And sometimes it's even worse when you feel like it's pathetic, right? Where it's like, oh, it's not because I'm dreaming about combat experience and I'm having a hard time watching the July 4th fireworks. It's more like I'm not making money. I don't feel fucking cool. And my wife is pissed at me for acting like a turd all the time. So I'm losing my mind and I'm making no money. I can't afford groceries. I'm living in a trailer. So you put all those things together and you find out, oh, I could have made money, just no one wanted to tell me because no one wants to pay. And that bothered me a lot, right? So I went on this mission to tell people, oh, I got to tell people. All I need to do is make a Facebook post. If I made a Facebook and a LinkedIn post about this, it would go viral because there are so many veterans that need to know. So the more I get involved, the more I understand that tons of people are trying to spread this word, but they're doing a bad job, right? Yeah. Because they're trying to make money out of it. So you turn into a coach and you try to tell people all this fancy fucking information, but if you want the real good gouge, you got to come work my course and all that kind of shit, because it's easy to get into because you don't get paid for this. Okay. So you have to figure out a way around it. So it led me to this 3-year war against the system, finding out, well, why am I being told that VA examiners for medical disability are rating everyone 33% lower than they're supposed to? Why are VA benefits seemingly being hid? Why is the word not getting out? Is there a conspiracy against veterans? Is there some fucking weird shit where we don't want people to understand their benefits? Why would that be? Why would we think that this thing that we decided was a necessity in 1939 didn't matter, right? Like, we know we need to pay taxes. We know veterans get free college. We shouldn't know veterans get free college. We should know veterans get paid to go to college. You get paid BAH to go to college. You don't get free college. You get paid to go to college. There's a huge fucking difference there. And it's very, very important. And it's not like semantics. It's not unintentional. It's fucking intentional. They're going to places and saying, you don't have to pay for college because that's what they want you to fucking think. They don't want you to think you get paid to go to college. You get basic housing allotment to go to college. It's very, very fucking important because people need about 3 to 4 years to make enough space from the military and enough breathing room to figure out that you are fucked up, you are different, you are indoctrinated. You need to take some time, breathe, and figure out how to change and or just live your life normally. It's going to take 3 to 4 years, at least. And so the fact that we have gone away from the typical protocol in which, yes, you need help and we are here to fucking give it to you. We've lost our way. And it's because we have 29 million veterans. So the original intent behind these things were post-World War I. We had fucking 6 million veterans tops. We were really at 3 in 1930. 3 million. And now we're at 29. And you're not even counting dependents. You're not counting fucking... There's a long breadth and width of people who are deserving, not open for, but deserving of benefits. And it's not that we're not telling them. There's not a fucking real effort, because the real effort is saying you are entitled to basic housing every year, and it's going to be this much. So what my mission is we're running 220 miles. with 22 pounds on our backs over 20 mountains. So
Start.
August 22nd in northern Nevada. So we're basically running from my fucking house up a few mountains in the northern Nevada desert.
A few mountains.
A few mountains. It's going to be a fucking meat grinder. You know what I mean? This is making hot dogs. This isn't making sausage.
Yeah, this is a big deal.
This is flattening people.
Yeah,
and it's hard for a reason. So it's August 22nd.
So how many people have signed up for this thing?
Well, the cool thing is that we have 12 veterans, active military, and, you know, a good part are SEALs that are already signed up. So I'm working on civilian folks because I want year one to mean a shitload to the veteran community.
Okay. Have you reached out to like legit, like ultra?
So we've poked a few ultra guys and there's plenty of interest, but we want to decide on what is the small amount we're going to allow in. This is the most difficult race that's ever been proposed. SEAL veterans are coming out. People who are passionate about
So
the
you're trying
cause
to
are
make
coming
this
out.
so big that people are scared to sign up for it.
I want to threaten the ultra endurance community
Holy fuck.
because these motherfuckers think they own pain and we own pain, bro. That's our shit. That's ours. So you look at Hell Week, you want to talk about mileage, it's 220 with about distribution wise 40 pounds on everyone's head. So the weight's on your fucking neck and you're balancing it like this between 4 other guys. We own pain. That's ours. So I'm asserting that if a Navy SEAL asks you for something, make them prove it. And I'm going to. I'm not going to ask you for funds. I have a mission. We have a plan to fix things. And we're going to fix things because I'm fucking driven and I'm not stupid. But I don't want you to blindly follow another cause with a dude who is just looking for gratification on their own scale. I'm going to go fucking burn myself to death for the cause. You don't have to ask me if I'm committed. Go fucking look. 220 miles with 22 pounds on your back, over 40,000 feet of elevation is the hardest race in America. And I'm proposing to do it with a group of dudes who have not done anything close to it. It's because we care, because we know we can push, that this is our mission. And so you have these endurance athletes, and I challenge you, endurance athletes. I challenge you to fucking come out. I challenge you to participate in year 2. I challenge you to fucking raise money for a reason that isn't fucking selfish. All these races, these endurance races that we do across America, they cost thousands of dollars per participant. So instead of spending money to prove to everyone how fucking rad you are, show up and do something that fucking matters for people who are putting it on the line. Not for glory, not for money, but to fucking save us all from an evil future. So we have guys who are running 220 miles with 45 pounds on their fucking heads every, 3 or 4 times a year? They're called bud students. And so if you want to say that you're hard and you're running the Cogan 250, the Arizona Monster 300, you're running the Leadville, 200. If you're running all these amazing races and you're an Instagram influencer and you're going to do it in fucking jeans, or you're going to do it in fucking khakis, or you're going to do it in fucking jean shorts, or you're going to do it with a butt plug in, I don't give a shit. Let everyone know that you believe in something that isn't just you. You're not inspiring people. You're just fucking building a brand. I'm not inspired by your run, okay, in your Instagram reels. Be somebody who matters. Do something for a cause. We have a reason to run. We aren't as trained as you are. It is going to hurt. It is going to turn people into mush. And we're ready, right? We're ready to break some bones. We're ready to fucking dissolve because the mission matters, not the self-aggrandizement. So we're going to start very early on day 1, and we're going to give everyone 6 days, 6 hours. So we'll start on a Friday, and you have until the following Friday, basically. So we're starting on a Friday. You have until Thursday at noon. We can give you some extra time if you're close, but not really.
Holy fuck, dude. If anybody out there,
if they want it, fucking let me know. But you don't want it.
You don't want it.
I guarantee fucking you don't want it.
dude, this is what Frogman Fridays are all about. And my job is to get more drunk than you to make you look as good as possible. And I will do that every single time.
I will fall on that sword. If anyone wants me to get hammered wherever they are, dude, I'll do it for you.
I will fucking
I'll show up.
But you're an amazing human being. Everything you've been through, there's so much we didn't get into as far as like dealing with certain parts of your life, especially your dad, that I feel like we're going to save it for another time.
Another time for sure. Dude, I want to finish that bottle is what I want to do. The drive's only 30 minutes. Just kidding. I'm getting an Uber.
Yeah, anyways, thank you for coming on. I love you to death, brother.
Love you too, brother.